I can feel it. I can feel gameplay. It's on its way. Welcome back to the Elite Series. I am joined on this panel by exceL and exeL, a fantastic live audience. And we have Method versus exeL up very, very shortly. It's moments away, I'm being told, which I cannot wait for. How do you see this one going then, guys?
Personally, I'm thinking a 1-1. As weird as it sounds, I think exeL could actually take Nuke. Like, they seem very comfortable about it. I know you want Jake to win.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Family,
but
blood.
I couldn't see them taking Mirage at all.
Okay, there's obviously a bigger map. Do you feel the same way, Kano?
Yeah, I ditto. The only difference, really, I think Nuke is going to be the closer of the two maps, but I'm going to be a little bit optimistic and predict a 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1 as well. Okay, well, we are going to be joined by two fantastic casters, Snods and Jackie. They're over just to my side. I can see them, but you might not be there. I'm pointing at them. Guys, do you ditto, like Kano said, 1-alls? Is that what you're predicting today? And by the way, welcome to the Elite Series, gentlemen.
It's not brilliant to be here. I mean, I can see Ben's thought process, obviously, Method having a bit of trouble online, but this is Method's bread and butter on LAN and on stage, and they've been dominating for a while, so I'm expecting maybe 2-0. Fairly close games, though.
Yeah, I reckon the same. But the thing is, I think that Method, as long as they play well and they play in that LAN environment where they're used to excelling, they could dominate. There's always a chance.
Gentlemen, I can't wait for you to start casting up. I think we can go. Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? Can we do this? Yes, yes, it's happening. Can I get some live audience from people, some cheering? Let's have this. As I pass over to the casters, Snods and Jackie.
Ooh, thank you so much, Tom. It is going to be an absolutely juicy one to kick it off. It's actually a very important matchup to kick off the day and also to kick off the entire season, Snods.
It is indeed. I mean, for Method right now, considered the best team in the UK. exeL, I mean, they've been close towards the top 4, top 3, so this is a chance for them to maybe prove that they are at that elite level within the UK.
Yeah, they need to try and keep that level going, because the thing is, recently form's been a tiny bit shaky. We are going to be going through the knife as well, so obviously they can decide their sides. And over on Mirage, this is quite important in terms of the map. How do you feel that this one's going to boil down here, just off the basis of that alone?
I mean, historically, Method have such a strong T side for themselves. The CT side is where things get a bit lacking, so for exeL, have a strong T side, try and break or expose the crevices that Method have in their CT defense, and then from there, try and get the W that way. Try and get enough T rounds as possible.
Yeah, so more of
this is a terrorist-sided game right now.
That's the thing. They need to try and get that early game advantage and work off the back of that, because that's the only way they're really going to get themselves into good form. I mean, structurally, we do see exeL improving. They're working a lot more in their playbook and their actual def in terms of their map pool, but Method have that structure already there. It's been there for quite a while. The only lineup change we've ever seen, really, since they've sort of found their consistent roster was the addition of Genko instead of Fry. So that's the only thing they've ever really got to worry about. Consistency in terms of their playbook should be set in stone at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And what's quite nice for them is the fact that Genko and Fry1 playing sort of a similar role as well, both of them being that heavy fragger, the 25 kills to 30 kills. I mean, for them, bringing Genko in and replacing Fry1 with him isn't really the biggest issue. For them, it's about consistency and constantly being able to prove that they are at the top, right?
And that's the thing as well, Genko, in terms of individual talent, people might say he's got a lot more promise in actually expanding him and growing him into an even bigger member of the team, whereas with Fry, maybe he didn't have enough experience, especially in this role as well, on this live stage, in this fantastic venue. That's where Genko really needs to feed off the hype, and it seems that we are going to be getting underway. It's Method versus exeL to kick off the Gfinity Elite Series.
Here we go. So, Genko, man of the hour, kit and smoke grenade as well. He's probably going to be the mid-window player, and if he is, having that kit on rotation, you want the kit to go down onto the bomb site, make it easier for that retake. So already 4 or 5 T players heading towards B. It's going to be neilzenia here initially. Method anticipating actually the T's to go towards A.
It's going to be very interesting. neilzenia has to try and ward them off here. Obviously, USP and Hardy has the sniping capability as he is just bobbing and weaving right now, getting an awful lot of information and a little bit of a tag off as well. So he can fall back, call that over to his teammates because they are now going to commit for the site take. They attempt to flood their way in, absolutely bounding and doing damage, but there's a bit of a struggle going on. Lazo will actually get the first entry though as he does take down neilzenia, and they've got control of the site. They're in very good afterplants as well. You can see everyone slipped into fantastic positions.
This is so hard now for Method. You can see already 1 man down. They have the kit there. They have the extra 5 seconds to defuse that bomb. The problem is you can see the afterplant positions as well from the T's. B-apps, bench, close door as well. This is so hard for Potenco to make it into that site.
Very, very clever play right now from exeL, but let's see if the retake is possible. Unfortunately, Lazo is just doing damage. 2 frags already for the man as Boaster kicks it off as well as he comes in with that Glock and starts to shut everyone down. Stanley will fall off the back of Connor going huge, and they get the opening pistol round.
Method, they're the read. They anticipate exeL to go towards A. Maybe they've seen the ESEA demos or they've seen previous matches where they do tend to go towards A. Instead, though, good read there from Jacob, the IGL, the captain, making that call to go back towards B. And you can see, just neilzenia alone, you can't really do too much. He did spot the bomb initially. The problem is, though, he had to play for the retake and allow them to have that bomb site. And him dying straight away as well, having that 4 versus 5 retake onto the B site, so difficult.
Yeah. Smart stuff, though, in terms of the afterplants. You could see exeL actually looking a lot better in terms of their communication there. Everyone was holding angles that they were supposed to be watching.
Yep.
There was no mishmash at all. This looked great in terms of what we used to see.
Disciplined plays as well, no one overextended. I mean, there's a player towards door, player towards short. I mean, they could have easily overfaced, got confident, or just at the stage get into their heads and stayed composed in the moment and actually managed to pull that one through.
And that's the thing as well. If they can kind of keep that level up, that's all they need. Because in terms of talent, these rosters are actually fairly evenly matched in some aspects. It's just that exeL were a little bit more of an unknown quantity. You didn't know if they'd actually be able to step up, play with that level of structure that, of course, Method have. They know how to play as a unit. Whereas exeL, it was always, would they fire off individually and get that to pull them through?
No, you are right there. I mean, the individual that you got to think of as well right now is Connor, right? Last time exeL played Mirage, Connor had 33 kills. He was really the man of the hour, the star of the show. He would go out towards A on his terror side and find multiple entries for his team. Allowed exeL to get the bomb down. I mean, people to talk about on the exeL side obviously be Lazar as well. I mean, talking about Connor, but Lazar, the AWPer, his AWP isn't really that aggressive. It's more of that in the 3 versus 3s, the 2 versus 2s, the clutch rounds when the bomb is planted in the retakes and the afterplants. That's where his AWP really shines through, right? Very good at hitting the easy and consistent shots.
That's kind of the thing as well with that is actually Lazar is a very key talking point because when you look at kind of the best AWPers in the UK right now that are in active teams and really sort of got that support behind them, obviously you look at Smuya as sort of your main man, obviously now in Epsilon doing damage, and then you know, Lazar is that man number 2. He's sort of the one that's built himself up. He had that good stint in endpoint. Now, obviously, in exeL, where he's found a home that's actually supporting him and allowing him to play the play style that he wants, he's been so effective in recent form.
A point as well to make, right, about AWPers. You mentioned Lazar being potentially the second best dedicated AWPer. For Method, they've got multiple players that can play that role, right? We see Pulse playing in some maps. On Mirage, CT side, Web will pull out the AWP. Jenko as well. I mean, speaking to the players at LAN, they said that Jenko should be the primary AWPer, but Pulse as well loves to take it up. And map dependent as well, they would juggle that around, and I've seen Weber typically take the AWP towards mid window on their CT side.
And that's kind of the thing as well. That is a major key point, because I feel like this is the most versatile team the UK
100%.
scene has seen in a very long time.
Multiple complete players. I mean, before with Fry 1, yes, I mean, there's obviously talk that maybe his communication was good enough, maybe on the stage that could affect them, but actually bringing in Jenko maybe fills that gap, but it's been interesting to see how they do perform under this new organization as well.
That's the thing, because they want to represent that Method banner. It's been a while, you know, they were always with FM, and they were trying to represent off the back of that. They were doing it for so long, and now finally they're under new org. They've got a lot more support as well, and that's kind of the difference maker, is these players can just hold off the back of it and work that way. But I mean, obviously, that's just kind of our thoughts once we are in this little bit of downtime. Why don't we find out what the analysts are thinking about this game?
That's me included as well then. Thank you for that, Jackie. What we're thinking, I thought that was a fantastic first round from exeL. Out of nowhere, just with the sort of the pistols and knives. Then they were obviously going to have Method having an eco round. I was just getting excited. Then it paused, and I was like, what's happened? Apparently, what's happened? It's not a technical fault. One of the players has been taken ill. So, guys, straight away to you, the experts. I mean, what happens in this scenario? What happens in this situation?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
That is what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear a definitive answer. What can possibly happen? Let's talk about it.
Well, we can play with 4, possibly, but it's not the best situation at all to be in. Like, you've
always
been
a man
prepared
down,
with
right?
5 players, and now suddenly you're possibly thinking about playing with 4. And CS is a 5-man game. I'm not sure how you could do it.
Yeah, I think it's not a knockout tournament in a sense that should whichever team has obviously had a player fall unwell, they'd only really be given up a potential of 3 points, which even though it's a lot in context of the 9 weeks of the Elite Series, sometimes you do just have to face the fact that it's going to be incredibly difficult to play on with 4. We're not sure whether the rules would allow them to play on with 4, and forfeiting would not be the end of the world for them to just give up 3 points if they do decide to do that. But if they decide to, you know, carry on, fair play to them.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get more details on that. But, I mean, people were talking about, like, what's the Elite Series going to be like? Anything could happen. No one was expecting this. Some people in the crowd were like, is it a pause? I mean, really, is that what could happen? Could there be a forfeit, SEO? Could that happen? I mean, we're running behind in the day, the schedules and everything.
Yeah, personally, I'd think a forfeit's best if he's not well within the next 5 minutes. You can't force him to try and carry on. It's, you know, if somebody's injured in football, you're not going to say keep playing. You're going to get them off.
Well, I've just been told that it's from the Method team. Jenko has been taken on well, so we're hoping whatever happens, he gets better immediately. We're going to take a quick pause to find out what's happening with Jenko. Do not go anywhere, as you'll get more details as we get them on the Elite Series. to the Elite Series. Myself on the desk with base art. I mean, someone was taken ill, but we've sorted that out. Luckily, Jenko is back, ready to compete. We'll pass now back over to the casters. Guys, Jackie, are you ready? Snods, are you ready for this?
Of course, of course.
I think we're strapped in now. The boots are on. Everyone feels pretty ready, right?
We just want to cast, don't we? That's what we're here for.
Oh yeah. We like making noise, getting excited.
There he is, Jenko. Obviously, I mean, it's an easy mistake to make, right? Sometimes you skip eating. You want to warm up. You want to be even more precise when you get into game. You skip food. You have those energy drinks, those Red Bulls, and you know it can happen.
That's the thing, and Jenko is one of those players that individually is so talented, so you can imagine that's him trying to focus on his own game. He wants to get those extra hours of DM in. He wants to be absolutely crisp, because that's where he is at his peak performance in this lineup. But we're back in anyway, of course. If you missed it, exceL were able to pick up the first round, which means this is where we continue from.
So, obviously, exceL Esports winning the pistol means they are 1-0 up. For the Method side right now, they're going to be going for this Force by Jenko. They have head armor as well, Pulse as well. What's important to mention is the fact that 5 players have bought Kevlar and pistols. There will be no AWP into this first buy round for the first buy round on the CT side. Weber usually AWPing towards the mid. It'll be interesting to see how he affects that, having to utilize the rifle instead. Right now, for the exceL side, is playing nice and slow. You can see 2 players towards apps, 2 players towards B apps as well, holding slow, anticipating a push from the Method side.
What do you think of actually the investment here as well? It's quite heavy on rifles. We're going to see 2 SMGs coming out. One of them just being the Mat 10 on Jacob, of course, trying to build up that extra cash.
What's strange as well is the Galil, right? Yeah. Typically, you see the UMP, the $600, the ability to farm up even more cash. Jacob, though, the Mac 10, he could be used as an information play, right? You send the Mac 10 in, see if they've actually stacked anywhere, and they have indeed. Method have stacked towards there. You can see no players currently towards that B site. If they sent Jacob in towards A, he would get slaughtered by 4 people, would see everyone, and then obviously the rest of the team would go back towards B, where there would be no players.
And that's the thing, information in these eco rounds are so critical as well. You want to try and limit the amount of casualties you have on your side.
Exactly. It's so important to have 3 or 5 alive to build up your cash slowly, so that if you do lose a buy round, you can still invest into the next one. Slow connector control there from Connor. Bomb going up towards B short. You can see already 2 players towards Palace, so this might be a fake here from the exceL side.
Let's see if exceL can actually take control. Obviously just trying to fake them out, bait them out, get that information off the back of it. Connor will kick it off as well. Finds the head of Weber fairly swiftly as they now make their approach actually over towards A, but they're walking into the stack. It could all go very wrong here. Luckily enough, they are finding the frags fairly quickly. Boaster does an awful lot of damage before Jenko chimes back in, but now he's the last man left standing. A hat trick of kills already to his name, and he needs to try and do some more damage. 25 seconds, has 3 kills already. He has to ace this if they want a chance to win this one. If he wins this round, he'll reset the money of exceL, force them to fully buy, and that could be where Method get their foot in here and start to get rounds on the board. Just a flashbang, 15 HP, 1 shot from the skill will take him down. This could be absolutely huge. If Jenko can pull this off, there is always potential that he can work his way through as he slowly makes his approach over, just firing off a couple of those pot shots. Flashbang is going to go out to allow him to take site control, but obviously not having the kit, he needs to be swift on this take, has to try and just get those pot shots off. Boaster and Connor are very low, but most likely they shouldn't peek here. They should try and play it smart. Connor had the angle covered, and of course will find the frack.
Obviously right there in that scenario, 15 HP, not really much you can do. They didn't have a kit as well. He couldn't go for the smoke diffuse. So he will go down. That'll be the second round there, 1 for exceL. 2 players alive, the bomb going down. That'll be $3,500 in the bank. This is the round now where Method will be on that full eco. This means that they should have USPs, potentially P250. This is the round now where exceL need to build up that bank. You can see 2 Mac 10s now. Lots of the AWPer trying to save up for that AWP. Mac 10, stack up that $600 and get money in the bank ready for the buy rounds.
And Lazar, he's going to be, of course, the scout player in this round, just try and burst his way through, tear it up with this Mat 10, and as you said, rack up as much cash as possible. Nice actual split play coming out as well. Jake somehow pulls that out of the bag as he shuts down Stanley. A frag he shouldn't really have gotten away with in close range like that.
Yep, obviously, having the Mac 10 versus the pistols, no Kevlar, got to be favoring the Ts in this scenario right now. For exceL, the bomb will go down as well. 5 players still alive. The more frags they can get here, the more money they build up. It's so crucial to have $5,000, $6,000 in the bank so you can continuously rebuy up into the next round. And you can see he's in another USP, just last alive. Gets 1 frag, I believe that's just a Mac 10, so we can't really save that into the next one, and Lazar will take him down. So, 3-0, we're now going into the first buy round of the Elite Series, Method versus exceL. Connor there on your screens, the star player for the exceL side. Can he carry on the performance he had in previous weeks into this Mirage map here? Janko, you can see, not looking 100% there. Feeling potentially a bit nauseous, but anyway. Buy round, you can see 5 M4s. I mentioned before, they went for the full buy in that second round after losing the pistol. No AWP. For the exceL side, though, still the Mac 10 on Lazar. They might try and go for a set execute towards A. And if they do, try and utilize that Mac 10 close range.
Nice mechanical display there from Weber as well, getting that early information as he leaks his way out, trying to get that mid control. You can see a lot of information plays actually coming out from the CTs, but they need to be ready for this, as it will be a very quick take. Nicely done from Stanley, though, as he looks through the smoke, finds a frag on towards Boaster, just playing off the back of contact. Another smoke goes in as well, as they flood their way into the site. Unfortunately, can't quite take them down, but Pulse is there to trade. This is going fantastically for Method right now. No one can get into the site, and they've had to hold back.
Method now the one-man advantage. 1 minute on the clock, the bomb is not down yet. You can see the bomb is towards ramp. I don't know, actually, if Stanley saw the bomb. You can see the rotations haven't happened yet from B. Neilzinho is still situated towards that B bomb site, so bomb still unknown right now for the CT side.
Just going for these pot shots out as well. Pulse just trying to make his presence known if they want to go for the push through. Pulse incredibly crisp at finding these headshots. He does it. It's a prime time angle for him to be playing from as well. The support of Weber, one of the greatest riflers we saw in the days of Source. And there's Jenko coming in for the final headshot as well. Just shuts down everyone that tried to make that last-ditch attempt work.
I mentioned how would Weber play without the AWP, and the fact is he played aggressive. Didn't have the AWP, didn't hold the angle towards window. Instead, he does the Kenny S jump up onto short, sees that there's no one mid. He knows there's either going to be a B execute or an A execute. It's 50-50. So at that point, you can see Stanley was ready for that play to come out. He was playing close towards ramp. He would have dodged the flashbangs that came out towards site, just in case that was going to happen. So 5 AKs now, no AWP still to this match. Last there onto the Kalashnikov instead of the obviously much favored AWP. Utility as well is strong on both sides, so exceL going to be playing a nice and slow default here. Bomb towards top mid, not really showing much presence towards the map. Might see a late mid take here from exceL Esports towards that 1 minute 10 mark. From there, take control of mid, try and find an entry towards mid, maybe have Connor go through connector, see if you can get that into that the precise aim, try and find entries towards the A bomb site.
That's the thing as well. That utility they have is so vital in this scenario as well. They need to try and get that map control now. Slowly going to approach towards mid, as they can go for a split play late into this round.
They can indeed. They'll smoke off connector. This means that the CTs have no idea who's going up short, and they will peek before that smoke does bloom. Jacob and the bomb going up towards short. Weber is smoked off. He has no idea. The flash will come in from Connor. The bomb is in CPL right now. If the bomb gets dropped here, this could be detrimental right now for exceL.
And you can see a big rotate coming in already from Method off the back of the information they've gathered. But exceL, they're lampooning them a little bit. They actually get the opening frag as well as JKM shuts down Pulse. This is a very winnable round they're in so far. But Stanley wants to change that. Will find one trading back on towards Connor until Boaster was swift enough to strike.
He was indeed. You can see Weber there anticipating some of the push towards CT spawn, but it's Jacob. He's holding for that rotation. Jenko won't be able to rotate in towards jungle. Instead, they're funneled towards CT. This is a near impossible retake right now for the Method side.
It's going to be so incredibly hard here. They have utility player. Luckily enough, they do have 2 kits as well. So at least if they can get back onto the site, they can attempt to retake it. Struggling a little bit with aim there. Jenko will be bested by Windansky, who just snipes him out of the air with that Kalashnikov, leaving Neilzinho to try and help him out. But most likely, they just have to go for the save in this.
Potentially. They did win the previous round. They might get reset here as well. It's so crucial that they stay alive with weapons. Why are they going 1 by 1? This is so pointless. Weber, though, has the smoke and the defuse kit. Could go for it.
He is going to smoke the bomb and attempt to just jump on it. Does actually find the frag onto Windansky as well. It's all on Boaster, but luckily enough, he has the precision to take him down. An incredibly close round.
That's risky right there. That's a big call to make, right? You're in a 2 versus 3. You just won the previous round. At this point, they're so prone to being reset, and it's just happened here. You can see the money right now, 2,000, 3,000 right now across the board. If only they saved. I mean, imagine if Weber saved the M4. He could drop over another one. They could have an extra M4, 2 plus the 1, 3, maybe some UMPs and decent utility. They could try and reset exceL again. But unfortunately for them, they went for the aggressive play. They took the risks. High risk, high reward, but unfortunately for them, it did not pay off. Is that just a Glock on Boaster?
He has just gone for the Glock, it seems. Glock utility, no actual rifle on him. Just playing very risky into this round.
Maybe a bit of a blunder there for the exceL side. Connor, the entry fragger right now for exceL Esports, trying to see if he can get this first frag, and he does just that.
Yeah, gets the opener here on towards Neilzinho, hungry for more, and Connor, of course, will find Jenko as well. You can see right now they're just flooding back into the site, but they're just being picked off 1 by 1. They have no chance of really, at least even holding back exceL in this scenario. They don't have the firearms to play with. It's all left on Stanley. At most, if he just holds for an exit frag here, maybe recovers a rifle.
exceL have just won this round, 4 versus 5. Boast has a Glock, just nades, that's it. Flashbang comes in, they catch Neilzinho off guard towards Car. He plays that position a lot. Typically, on the old lineup of FM before they joined Method, it would be Stanley and it would also be Neilzinho towards B, and they played that very, very well. Maybe with the addition of Jenko, they might have swapped up their positions a little bit. But still, 5-1 right now. exceL that 4-round lead. Method, though, on the bright side, they can still buy up into this one. They went for the quasi buy in the previous round. Quasi meaning Kevlar, pistols, but they are still able to buy up into the next round. So it is different compared to the Eco. Here we go, then AWP finally into play. 5 AKs on the T side. Once again, strong utility for them. Could be seeing another slow default. It worked for them previously. Take control of mid towards the 1 minute mark or so, and go for that late take towards mid. Go towards connector, try and find those entries that way. I mean, we saw what happened in the previous round. They got the frags towards triple, they got the frags towards CT, and at that point, the round was over for Method.
That's the thing as well, mid control so vital on Mirage, especially with Weber back on the AWP. They have a lot more consistency they can play with, they can roam a lot more, and this is where he could actually come into effect as well. You can see exceL now encroaching, trying to gain control of that mid area.
They are indeed. The bomb and 2 other players right now holding towards their ramp, seeing if there's any CT aggression. Jacob has control of mid. You can see Jenko towards CPL. When it comes in, Jacob should get flashed here, and he does. Jenko get the frags.
This could be huge. Jenko is going to go 1-for-1 though as he gets traded out by Boaster as they flooded their way around to his crosshair. Got a little bit overwhelmed, but at least he did actually get the information off the back of that.
He did indeed. So, Jenko going down towards short. You can see the middle player, Pulse, was holding towards window. Now he's forced to go towards B. exceL having that, exceL being in that 4 versus 4 on the T side gives them the advantage because the CTs have to split up their defense. 2 on B and 2 towards A, and they have to be so careful of the window boost that could happen. You can see as well Pulse being pulled away from B. So if exceL put that bomb back towards T-spawn and go B right now, there's only neilzenia there to hold. With 30 seconds left, it's looking like they're slowly going to go for the A play.
Set themselves up as they slowly encroach on towards the bomb site. But the thing is, they are covered off from all angles by Method. And Weber with the AWP in hand, he can be so fast and furious as he actually picks up the opening frag. Shuts down Windansky, goes back for more, but a whiff comes out. He does get punished. As luckily, Stanley is in the rear, fast on his feet as he will find out the location of Lazar. Takes a couple of pot shots, but he will take him down. Time is critical now as well. They don't have a lot left to play with. They have to commit to this bomb plant as they're just getting torn to shreds.
That's it. Round is 1 for Method. Stanley there pushing towards apps. The CT aggression. Initially, he sees no one towards Palace, and he's probably calling the fact that it's probably going to be a B play. Instead, there was actually 2 towards mid and 2 towards A ramp, so able to get that fast flank in. exceL did not see that one coming, and that will grant them that second round. Once again, whether the AWP didn't really see too much impact within the previous round, but then again, exceL, they seem to be dodging mid in the early portion of the round, right? That's what you want to do with the AWP. The AWP has a bigger impact towards the start of the round. Try and get that early first pick. Try and get the initial frag for your team. It's flashed off, actually smoked away. Molotov as well comes towards connect. The flash comes in.
Oh, Connor could be so critical, but luckily enough, he gets punished. Weber and Pulse find their 2 frags that they never should have got. Weber as well does one better as he shuts down Jacob with a beautiful shot, leaving it all on Stanley on the side, but Weber's still doing more. Finds another frag as he executes Lazar. A Method looking very crisp into that round where they potentially could have got overwhelmed.
5 alive as well means their money is going to start building. See there, Weber, the captain of this Method side. neilzenia was the caller, but Weber, a staple of UKCS.
One of those older players that we've seen around for so many years back in the days of Source and still trying to fight through and be in that high life.
Indeed. So, 3 to 5 right now. It's going to be exceL taking the eco into this one after being absolutely obliterated in that previous round. Weber now with the AWP does the short jump once again. Luckily for him, though, no one's coming to his crosshair, but that could be a sign, right? The fact that he sees no one hit constantly might call to his teammates to maybe play more passive. Don't go for the pushes. They don't go towards mid at the start. Care, they're holding for the aggression, playing the defaults out. For Method right now, on your CT side, obviously, accept this round. This is the eco round. You've got to let this one pass. This should be 4 to 5 for Method here. But on the next buy round, if the Ts are constantly doing these slow default plays, they take control of mid-late, let the Ts waste their utility, allow them to come onto your sites, have good positions on the bomb sites, then lock it down that way.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing right now. We just need to wait and see how obviously they're going to play it because that's the thing. exceL, they look at it. They need to try and take that slower approach. They realize that they were getting better plays off the back of it, but they don't have any utility into this round as well. This eco, more or less, just play for a scouting round.
Yeah, exactly like that. Connor does headshot and dink up Pulse. Down to just 20 HP. Still has the 2 flashbangs as well. Then again, for the exceL side, into this round, into the full eco, your goal is to try and get 2 frags for those pistols. Try and take out $5,000 to $10,000 worth of CT investment. Apart from that, not really too much you can do. You've got to be anticipating this one to be a Method 4th round.
As they do try and set themselves up for what appears to be that B take off the back of the A fake. Weber will actually find the opening frag, though. Shuts down Jacob, who was working his way through short. But now they need to commit to this. Just try and work in off the back of it. They are going to flash over, flood through. neilzenia gets the Molotov down early with a backup of Weber as well, providing overwatch with the sniper. Just picking everyone up, doing damage with the AWP. They physically can't find themselves getting into the site. neilzenia will find the final frag on towards Connor, and the eco goes to waste.
2 rounds in a row now that Method have had 5 players alive. That's $3,500 per round. $7,000 minimum in the bank right now for these players. Obviously, you've got to buy up your utility that you use and whatnot. But yeah, look, 6,000 across the board right now for Method. They can still buy up into 2 more rounds. exceL right now have to win 3 in a row to break the bank of Method. So if it does go to that 8-4, break that bank, potentially could be seeing a very commanding lead right now for exceL. Problem is that there's a very big ask. We see Fallen do this play of the AWP as well. He peeks towards ramp. He'll have his teammate cross and go in the corner. You can see right now, I believe that is Stanley. Yeah, it is. So he'll go into the corner. Weber will bait for him. He'll take the shot, fall back, and they're going to walk into Stanley's crosshair. But smart play at the wrong time. You can see no players currently towards ramp. You have Lazar right now just holding off. He's not really close enough right now for it to have effect. If the bomb comes back around from T-spawn, then potentially.
See as well, actually, the aggression coming out here. Method just trying to play in that crossfire where they're pushing up for the information. Could actually work fairly effectively if they push into the hands of exceL that are lying in wait.
Bomb still towards T-spawn, though. Once again, another 1 minute slow default towards mid-round. Jenko towards short, though. That's a nice headshot there. He's blind as well, so pure muscle memory flick. We mentioned the practice he puts in, and right now it's showing. Already a man advantage right now for the Method side. 4 players alive, 3 players now as well as Stanley finds a kill towards A.
That's a huge round coming off the back of Jenko opening it up like that. Stanley doing damage as well towards the A bomb site, provides so much information, forces the hand of exceL massively. You can see as they now have to work their way up, try and get that short control, but they know they are lacking.
They are indeed, they are 2 men down. Lazar, might be trying to see if he can get a frag here, try and cause a rotation towards B. He finds the counter Weber. Weber's the op, there's a big advantage. And there it is, just Boaster now and Connor.
Playing into his favor, unfortunately, he peeks into Weber there, but Boaster, can he do some damage? Can he get things pumped for his team? Unfortunately, Jenko still does damage. Boaster does fire back a little bit, finds the opening shot. Nearly gets the second on towards Nilzinho, but it was too hard.
5-5 is the scoreline. In the preface, I mentioned the fact that both of these teams rely on their T side, on Mirage, Method especially, right? Every single CT round they get is so crucial, especially after losing the pistol round. If you look at straight buy rounds, you can see 2 buy rounds, 1 for exceL. Apart from that, it's 5 have been won for Method. So for consistency's sake, Method, they're definitely delivering right now. Even though the scoreline is the same, you've got to be anticipating Method to be winning this half, potentially 9-6.
Nilzinho in position with the M4, of course. It's going to be a much easier time if they do go for this B play, as he's got the AK out as well. Jenko will get the opening headshot as he shuts down Jacob. Just a lot of utility going out. The Molotov is going to be the critical factor, though. They're all now very weak as they flood themselves into his waiting arms. They do get out onto the site, but luckily enough, he's able to pick off quite a few of them. Jenko's going to come in for the last 2 frags as well. And Method keep themselves rocking through quite steadily off the back of these ecos.
Lazar, Joe Loose, the AWP for the exceL start. I haven't really seen it out yet.
No.
Quite interesting seeing the 5 rifle play. They do that slow play. I mean, if you brought the AWP in, you wouldn't really be able to utilize it. Obviously, the AWP wants to be going for those fast, aggressive picks, and it's not really matching the exceL playstyle that they're showing us right now. Once again, though, 5 Kalashnikovs on the T side. For Method, though, it's going to be strong utility, strong firepower. And once again, Weber does the mid jump. He's going to spot no one towards mid. This is huge. They know exactly what's about to happen. An execute towards B or an execute towards A.
They gambled correctly as well as they rotate over towards A. Nice splash damage coming out that early nade that's demolished everyone holding by ramp, but Weber will actually, Stanley is going to get shut down as Connor floods his way towards the bomb site. Pulse doing a little bit of damage back as well as he trades on towards Connor, but Pulse is short-lived in his reign of terror as Boaster will spot him out. Jenko, this is a huge play coming off though, pushes through the smoke, plays around it quite cleverly here. If they push into his crosshairs, they shouldn't be expecting him to have charged through. Will be able to get away with the frag on towards Jacob, but Boaster trades back very swiftly there. Weber trying to come in as well, AWP in hand. No one really needs to peek into him, and left in a 1 versus 3 like this round is as good as gone.
You can see Lazar rotated from ramp all the way towards mid. Even if Weber wanted the chance of winning this one, Laz would be there from behind. Weber caught off guard, but Lazar's positioning there. And that'll be another round right now for the exceL side. I mean, even if Boaster didn't find those crucial, that crucial 2K, those 2 frags towards jungle and towards CT, obviously the fact that Lazar rotated away from ramp towards mid, the bomb was planted for him, those CTs would have never expected that play. 6-6 now as we head into the 13th round. AWP now finally in the T hands. Lazar building the AWP. Going to be going towards B. Might be seeing if Nilzinho will go for that jump peek, try and catch him in midair. If not, might try and see if he chucks some utility, throws a flashbang and try and actually wall bang him through the balcony.
Connor, he's quick off the draw though as he makes his way up short. Actually shuts down Jenko. This is a critical man to actually be able to take down early into this round. Nilzinho trying to play around the smoke, but Connor just goes to the pre-fire. Finds a frag Boaster as well. Ridiculous flick as he shuts down Pulse. That's absolutely mental.
It is indeed. 2 versus 5 right now. As I say that, it's a 2 versus 4. Stanley finds the frag onto Jacob, but you can see already fleeting away. Weber and Stanley going to be saving the AWP and the M4. They have kits for utility. There he is, nodding his head, having a great time winning this round. That is Windansky. So, already 7 rounds for exceL. If they win the next one as well, Method's money should be fairly strong, but still, if exceL get to the 8th round after winning the pistol, Method going to be losing the half 7 to 8 potentially, and at that point, it's all down to that pistol. If exceL can win both pistols in this map, they could easily be having that, 11 to 7 lead. Such a close game so far.
Yeah, just the amount they can push themselves off the back of just getting those pistol round wins is actually quite crazy in the grand scheme of things. And as well, just of how they've been keeping the economy of Method at bay, you've seen they haven't really been able to get out that AWP out too much. Now in this scenario, though, this is where it starts to get a little bit meaty again. These rounds are going to be very close.
Thanks to the fact that Method are 5 alive on so many rounds and have to constantly rebuy or drop weapons, you can see they have enough money to constantly buy up for the rest of this half. Stanley going for that mid-jump, quite the movement mechanics as Weber did earlier. And again, exceL all grouped towards this A site.
Oh, Pulse here could be so huge, though, playing off the back of the contact play once again, and it's so smart. As soon as he hears that audio cue, goes for the shots, does take down Boaster, but unfortunately, he actually gets traded back by Connor. This leaves him in actually quite a scarce situation.
4 versus 4. Bomb not spotted yet. I actually believe it was, because you can see that rotation there from Weber did come back towards B. It's going to be Jenko going back towards jungle. Nilzuni wants that high position towards ticket booth to spot towards connector. He also wants to be seen towards A ramp as well. Having that long-ranged angle held with the AWP is so important. You can see if you had a rifle in that scenario, that spray control could potentially cause errors. 1 minute now on the clock. exceL going for that fast play. And now there's so much time to slow things down. No CT aggression just yet. Typically, around this mark, 50 seconds or so, you might see some CT aggression from some information. All it is a guessing game for both sides.
Oh, Weber fires off the pot shots as well as he is trying to thwart them in their attempt of taking control of the site. They have been able to brush past them, but they are fairly penned in. Windansky is the only one that does really anything into the round. Will shut down Stanley as he gets a bit of an opener going, but they're still at a deficit. They need to try and play off the back of this. Windansky keeps the aggression going, actually. He's popping heads left, right, and center, doing all of the work for the side of exceL. Weber's getting forced out of position as well. He physically can't peek into this right now. He's being held at bay. This is incredibly smart from exceL.
It is indeed. They're still going to go for this one. They have money to buy up to the next one, so they're not going to be going for the save. And actually, Jacob now, the wallbang, will be taking down Weber. Nilzini on the 1 versus 4. To spray down one of them. Has a kid.
Is there any potential we can actually retake this as he's just firing off these rounds? It's highly unlikely. The only utility he had was that Molotov. Will burn them out of position, actually. He plays around that quite cleverly. So unfortunately, it's only the 1 frag onto Connor.
And that scenario, the 1 versus 4, as soon as they go for that double peek, both peek at the same time, they will take down Nilzini. So, final round of the first half of the Elite Series, 6 to 8. Money for the Method side, going to be fairly decent. You can see they're going to have the AWP and whatnot onto Weber. Haven't really seen that much of an impact. He typically goes back towards CT ticket booth, and that might be the reason why exceL keep going for these executes. They're trying to smoke off Weber and try and leave Stanley or Pulse alone on that side. Thing is, though, if exceL win this and it's a 9-6 scoreline, and then Method lose that second pistol, that could be what? 12 to 6 in favor of exceL. exceL could be doubling the rounds of Method, and I don't want to call it an upset, but this is definitely unpredicted, unexpected right now from the exceL side, coming in guns blazing on their T side.
When you look at how close this matchup is right now in terms of individual aim duels as well, it's insane to think that it's gone down to this point. It very well could be a ridiculously close matchup. I mean, I think right now there is actually the potential for the full 30 rounds.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, if Method win their pistol, potentially 9-9, and from there, we're still at evens after the first half. 3 players on the CT side towards A. You can see as well Weber back towards that CT position. Stanley now and Pulse close towards ramp. Not playing a base setup that well. Just playing off each other right now. There he is, the captain, Nilzini towards the B-app. It's going to be Jenko joining him towards short. Stanley flash comes in towards ramp. He's going to spot no one here. And that might be the call for Weber to rotate back towards B.
I think Windansky is getting all this information. Windansky could try and cut him off as well here. He has the rotate locked down. It depends if Stanley gets overconfident and who actually comes out on top. As you'd expect, Windansky is able to strike. This is massive. Connor comes into effect as well, shutting down Nilzini. Jenko tries to rip through him with that M4, but he's getting overwhelmed. They're swarming onto his position, but Jenko somehow pulls it out of the bag, getting the follow-up frag on towards Connor before Jacob will eventually take him down. The 2 versus 3 retake is going to be incredibly hard. Weber had to hit that shot. The fact he's missed it puts them in such a big deficit. Utility is weak, but Pulse just tries to make the hero combo play. Somehow, he gets it going. He charges his way on, shuts down Jacob, actually gets legged as well, but he's still fighting through. Is aware of the location of Lazar. This could be so massive, but the tag comes out, walks into the Molotov. Weber now has to do it all on his lonesome. This is going to be so incredibly hard of a task, but they're actually picking into him when Dansky goes down. One final man remains in Lazar as he tries to scope him in here, has to get for the B-hop play, bounce him around the side like a lunatic, has to try and scope him out, and he's timed him out. Unfortunately, Weber can't do it, misses the no-scope. So close, yet so far.
There he is, Joe Ducky loose. Mentioned before, potentially the second best AWPer in the United Kingdom. And there it is, you can see, went for the brain play, ringing around the roses towards that B site, and you can see Weber not too happy with that one, is he? He understands right now the pressure of this pistol. If they lose this pistol, exceL, I mean, as long as they don't lose versus the fourth spy and the anti-ecos, we could easily be seeing a 6-12 scoreline.
And that's the thing as well, you can see mentally how hard that's hitting a Method right now. In these situations, recent form online, they've taken a bit of a knock. They haven't been playing as well as they want to. I mean, we saw them actually lose out to Reason in some qualifiers recently where they you know, you can see that mental game seems to have affected them in that way. They need to come back into this. This is their environment. This LAN environment where you've got the roar of the crowd. A lot of these players have been through that before with, you know, Weber, Nilzinho. They're used to it. They need to try and thrive off that and raise up that team morale.
I mean, initially, you just sort of shrugged it off. It's online. It's an online qualifier. This isn't on a stage on LAN where that's really the proving ground for Method, where they really do excel. But instead, it's going to be exceL Esports coming guns blazing initially. I mean, T-side, it was their T-side. I mentioned before, their T-side is where they get the majority of their rounds. CT side right now for exceL, I mean, Laz is opening towards window. I mean, typically, he goes towards window, gets smoked off, mollied off towards connector, go towards ticket. They play more of a standard round. They don't really get too aggressive on the CT side. But enough of that as we do go into the pistol round now. Looking at the kills as well. Connor leaded the charge for the exceL side, 14-13. And then over on Method is Jenko on 13 kills. So, pistol round. Utility is strong actually on the Method side. We can see smoke, 2 smokes, 3 smokes even actually. Pulse throwing a smoke off towards mid. Weber as well, smoke double flash, and then Molly, smoke onto Nilzinho.
This is actually going to be a very aggressive strategy of what they've gone for here. You can see that speed is going to be in mind. This is things what might play in their favor. You can try and get that invigoration back inside a Pulse. That's where he's going to be able to do damage. Stanley's in the charge, but he gets shut down. Connor snipes him out of the air, absolutely thwarts their plans immediately. They have to slow down very, very fast off the back of this.
One man advantage already for exceL. They have the kit as well, the insurance policy onto Dansky. Weber now towards stairs. Can we see if he can peek out? Actually spots Lazar. Lazar unaware of what's going on. Ducks behind Firebox, but still, the pressure's there.
Oh, there's a man behind him as well. Somehow, Pomps was able to find the frag onto Boaster. Boaster was behind Weber this entire time, and they get away with it. A round that's so messy because of the communication. You could see everyone overwhelmed on either side. They are able to pull it out of the bag. Jacob cut off as well. He can't actually rotate in effectively as Jenko has complete control of CT here, just toying with him. Jacob is going to try and take the fight, just wants to go for the brute force approach, but Jenko in that fight is going to be able to beat him down. It falls towards Connor. A 1 versus 3 retake with no kit, highly unlikely.
It is indeed. Kit was dropped from Mendansky, but I'm not quite sure where it was dropped. If it was towards CT or ramp, there's not a chance they can pick it up. It just has the Seb armor. They go for the 3-2-1 peek. They all peek simultaneously. They do find that frag onto Connor. You can see the relief on their faces winning that pistol. They know exactly what would have happened if they lost that. Would have been such a big lead and advantage for exceL.
That's massive for them as well. They started the round.
The man advantage as well. What's crazy is the fact that Loz was completely unaware to the fact that someone could come connect. I mean, on the stage, obviously communication could be lacking potentially, and that could have basically been it. I mean, all it takes is they can be connector. Could have been seeing exceL winning 2 pistol rounds, but instead though, we're going to be going 1-1. We have a game on our hands.
Meth are going to try and kick it off fairly swiftly. Pulse actually gets away with 2 massive frags as they're pushing into him, losing a lot of those pistols they did buy for. They are actually going to be up to upgrade to that Galil though. Boaster has that in his hands, so at least they've got something out of the round. Method needs to try and keep the rest of these players alive. Don't lose too many more weapons into this. Just build up cash off the back of this round. This is one that exceL shouldn't, in theory, actually be picking up. Jacob going to play it smart, though. Finds a nice little snapshot on towards Nilzinho. Grabs himself a UMP. This is incredibly winnable now.
3 versus 3. The bomb is down. The problem is you can see Jacob towards Apps. Jumps out. Jenko's flashed. Managed to be sprayed down there by Jacob. It's going to be a 2 versus 3, but the quick trade there from Weber. Stanley now and Weber. Can they hold this one?
Absolutely massive play from JKM. Boaster as well does damage as he gets the view above Stanley. Strikes him down. It's all on Weber. Clutch play is where he should excel. He needs to really bring out his all-star game into this one as he tries to approach smartly. Connor just trying to bait him out with the bait of the plant. Weber's not going to fall for it, though, as he He's slowly approaching through. Needs to just try and get him off the bomb as he's so close. 3 seconds left. Tags him into it. Goes for the knife. And Connor, the last second there, not going to be able to get away with it. Actually does get shut down. You can see the frustration.
I mean, attempts for the audacious play. They're going for the 10-second defuse versus Weber. You can see the grin in his face. He knows what he's just done. I mean, that could be mental. That could cause a mental effect right now for the exceL side. I mean, getting knifed as well. What's that, 1.5k in the bank?
Yeah, that's a lot of economy they've grabbed off the back of that round.
Exactly that. Method, now at 8. exceL still sitting at 9. It's going to be the eco round as well for the exceL side. Sliggy, can we take a look at the money, please, real quick? Just want to see if anyone did save for the AWP, and Luzza did. So you can see there, Luzza has 3,200. He's going to get an extra 2,400 for the loss bonus. So there will be an AWP into the first buy round for exceL. And right now, it's going to be stacked towards mid, and Booster finds that first frag.
Incredibly aggressive play from exceL here. Shock and awe on their eco. Of course, you can't really play them like a gun round, but they've been able to scavenge a gun. Jacob now has that UMP in hand as they are attempting to retake this B bomb site very early. The bomb's not down, but they're just flooding in. Jacob gets another frag. This is incredibly fantastic. Pulse is going to fire back though. 2 swift AK kills coming out. Weber and co. just trying to find themselves in hunkered down positions. They don't want to get overwhelmed by these interesting plays coming out from the exceL side.
Yep. Problem is, though, obviously, in that scenario, no arm on the retake there, just USPs. Still, though, I mean, 2 kills for your eco round on your CT side. Can't really complain about that one too much. It's going to be 9-9. This is a big buy round right now. If Method win the buy round, that's 4 in a row. The money as well. Having those SMGs, if they have any still, which they do. I mean, you can see Weber has the SMG. Not going to be buying up that AWP. If they win this round, they've already got 5,000 in the bank, 4,000 in the bank. If they win this, an extra 3,000. I mean, we could be seeing Method finally finding their footing into this one. And once they have that lead, are they going to let the grasp off of exceL's neck?
That's the thing, once they're holding on firmly here, as they are going to go for an explosive play. The burst towards the B-bomb sites, they just flood their way out, but they're not clearing correctly. J-Chem's able to get away with that frag on towards Weber as he just wanted to get into a better position. Luzza does eventually come in as well with 3 frags off the back of the AWP. Fantastic positional play. He shuts down everyone that comes in front of his crosshair, and it's left on Pulse on the site. No one is nearby, though.
Has utility. The money is low for exceL as well. Right now, gets the bomb down. That's extra cash for his T side. If he can find a frag here or 2, try and dent the economy as much as possible. This isn't really that winnable. Being 17 HP, I thought for a second there when all of them were blind, there was a chance, but you can see, right? He's going into the round, gets the bomb down. That extra cash is good. If he found a kill or 2, that would have been even better. Could have been one of the CTs put onto a UMP potentially, but instead, exceL win that first buy round. Luzza there. We can see the replay from his angle as well. That's 1. Easy frags as well. I mean, no one's actually looking towards short. No one smokes it off him. Stanley, I mean, I wonder if Stanley had nades as well. If Stanley had a Molotov or a smoke, he could have completely shut them off from short. Potentially could have been seeing that 10th round.
We saw that first play. Obviously, they wanted to try and go for the speed on that, but they had to play with. We saw no just on-the-fly smokes they could have done as well to help them out. And the communication just looked off on that side.
Exactly. It did indeed. Method now. It's going to be Weber. Actually, sorry, Luzza going towards short. I mean, I'm so used to saying Weber going towards short after making that short jump so many times in a row. And already it's going to be Jenko and co finding 3 frags. It's going to be 10-9, but already 3 players gone for the Method side.
Stanley here, pushing his way around, but Jake gets a 6 shot as he takes him down. Jenko will be able to fire back, but all of a sudden it's just 1 man left. Connor trapped towards the B-bomb site. Method will be able to get the plant down, get that extra cash off the back of it. And if they can get through this round with only using 1 man in Stanley, that's actually a very effective round. They're not going to be too angry about that at all.
It is indeed. What's big as well is the fact that they've broken the money of exceL. Sliggy, if we can take a look at the money, please, real quick as well. Oh no, we'll see once the round does end. Nevertheless, though, the fact that they won the round, they've been reset. Here we go. So yeah, look, 750, 1,700. You got 2.8k on bonuses, so when they lose this, you'll get 1.4 thousand extra. I mean, that'd be enough for an M4 smoke flashbang, but you can see the face on Jacob. He knows exactly how harsh this reset has been to their money. And obviously, this is a game of economy, right? If you don't have the numbers to back it up, you can't invest into the utility, the firepower, the AWPs. What's so vital to succeed?
That's kind of one of the major points is as well with Method. No matter how well you do in your first half, you need to be ready to back that up as soon as you get onto the second half. Because Method, if they find a crack, they're going to continuously hit. You're going to see them really work their way back through.
What's interesting as well is to see if exceL force into this one. Because if they force into this round, lose it, go on eco, we could see Method at what? 13-10, 12-10 at that point. They're definitely in the running to take this first map. But instead, they're going to make the smart choice here. Going to go for the eco. Just Connor has that saved in 4. Going to see if he can get a kill through the smoke, but unfortunately for him, he will find nothing. No players towards B currently. Weber towards the B apps. I don't think he's going to push this one. Has the AK. I mean, if he had a Mac 10 maybe, he'd be going for some information. Just trying to show presence right now towards B. Try and see if he can cause exceL to stack over towards that site, and then potentially hit A. But I think Method think that exceL are bought, actually.
It does look like the way they've been reading it into this round. That's actually the call. I mean, Stanley as well gets this frag coming off, shuts down Boaster. It's a very odd round right now.
It is indeed. I mean, the fact that Boaster just fell there, has the pistol, I think they realize they've actually ecoed into this one, and they might play a little bit more aggressive. So, Jenko finds that kill onto Jacob. 5 versus 3. Connor still has the M4. Lazar does not find that kill onto Posto.
This is massive as well now. They're in such a good position. Even though they do have 2 rifles on the CT side, they're not in great positions. Sure, Lazar could possibly get the opening frag here, but he shouldn't really be able to do too much. Gets away with that massively, though. No one's there to support, and they're actually going to backtrack out of there. They've got the information. They want to head to B.
He's played that so well. The problem is there are no CT players right now on the B side. 3 pickings for Method. No armor onto Lazar means this retake is so crucial on the fact that can Connor land these kills.
Yeah, Connor needs to go huge here. Minimum, we're looking at him at least getting that 1 frag on the board. More than likely needs to get 2. Gets the opener, though. Shuts down Stanley. That's critical. He can wait for his teammates to come in, and Lazar is coming from behind. This is great play.
Connor has the flashbang as well. Once Lazar is close, he could flash in towards site. We might be seeing Lazar finding frags from behind. Weber, though, pushed towards short. Yeah, good play there from Lazar. He knows he's gone towards short. He's going to be walking now. Just so Weber doesn't hear him, but he's going to be clearing short. They might anticipate the fact that he could be towards apps.
Oh, the position of Nilzinho as well. This could really play in the hands of Lazar. If they play together as a unit, just smart retake, potential coming out. Unfortunately, Weber will find the first frag. Lazar could fire back. He needs to spot Nilzinho, but he wasn't aware. Nilzinho will punish. A Method finally get around on the board there off the back of that.
Nearly the miracle round there for exceL. Unfortunately, they do lose that one in the end. It is the only one alive right now. So you can see the money to take a big hit for that T side. 3,000 onto Jenko. 500 on Stanley. Nilzinho, though, has 6,000. But he's bought a UMP. He's got 6K. He's bought a UMP. This is crazy. They must think that this is going to be the eco round.
I think they've misread the economy.
They must have thought they had armor because of the fact that Lazar and whatnot found so many frags. What's interesting as well was, towards ramp, the fact that Lazar peeked out, did 2 bullets, peeked back, dodged the bullet from that player towards stairs and didn't get aim punched.
Yeah, that was really well played from him.
It was. Still, though, Stanley and Co. potentially expecting this one to be an eco. See their faces once they realize that actually exceL Esports have the M4s and the AWP onto Lazar.
They are getting control of short very easily here as they brush their way in towards that B bomb site. You can see the 2 CTs pushed up quite heavily in apps as well, going for more of a deep play. So a lot of map control has been easily taken by the T side. Windansky will be the first to strike, though. Takes down Pulse, but the trade will come back in from Stanley, leaving them in a bit of a 4 versus 4. But Boaster, he could be so huge into the round. It just depends if they can clear it and they play smart. They have utility to play with as well.
Lazar has the flashbang towards CT. If he flashes Boaster in right now, that could be an easy 2K right now. Bomb. Towards bottom mid, Nilzinho now, and Jenko both pushing in towards connector.
Let's see if that's how it's going to unfold. He gets the angle, but luckily enough, Jenko's able to respond. The miss comes out from Lazar as well, but luckily enough, he gets it when he goes in for seconds. Hungry for a little bit more as well as he tries to scope out the rest of the playing field. Stanley is in the rear as he's trying to get the drop on Lazar. Should find that easy headshot. Just 1 bullet is all it'll take, but he'll have a little bit of a spray as he takes him down, leaving them in a 2 versus 2. But the bomb location is so vital here.
Connor has the bomb. This is huge. If only he had a smoker or Molotov, he could molly the bomb and that'd be the round over. He's going to be peeking at her support as well from Jacob towards short.
This is absolutely insane. They're just going to go for the brute force attempt. They're able to find the opening frag, but Jacob fires back. They have no time to go for the plant here. He's flooding his way to the bomb site, but as soon as it hits 4 seconds, they haven't committed to the plant. And exceL get another round on the board. 11-11 as we're so close.
An issue there. I thought Jacob would have whiffed it, but instead he finds that one crucial kill on the player of the bomb, and Weber didn't have enough time to plant that bomb.
The frustration on Weber here. You can see it's getting to him. A very emotional player as well.
Was indeed. Lazar there, that frag onto Nilzinho. Then the second one, he whiffs it. Goes for the reface. There's confidence right there. He's feeling it. He's playing well. 17 kills as well. Currently leading the charge for his team. And in the preface, we mentioned the 2 stars, right? Lazar and Connor. And you can see them right now. Both as well chiming in, but the impact frags have been from Lazar and Connor. You can see Connor's the entry frag, right? Even though he's got the same kills as someone like Boaster or whatnot, being the entry fragger and having a lot of kills means potentially those frags are more impactful.
Do you know what's crazy as well? Is even though we sort of hyped up the fact that Lazar is this very organic AWPer, we see him doing a lot of damage, he works very well, very talented, we've seen that, and he's got a lot of impact frags that have won them rounds off the back of that, but his rifling today has been incredible. Very, very smart player. You can see mechanically, he's improved tenfold.
He has indeed. Can wield the AWP, the rifle just as well. But I feel like he has the most impact for himself with the AWP. So we can see the buy now, actually. It's 11-11. Money is low on the exceL side. They win the round, though, but only one alive. You can see they've taken this tactical pause because they're discussing what can we buy. 3,000 across the board. If they buy up into this one, it's going to be what? FAMASs, light utility, UMP. Even then, if you buy the UMP, 1.2k, Kevlar, you could get a full set of nades, but then again, you lose this round, you reset, Method at 12, and they're going to be playing versus 2 double ecos. And at that point, it could just be all she wrote.
That's the thing. I mean, they're in a very sticky situation. I'm not going to be surprised on if we only see a very light investment and just play around Jacob's Sav and JK.
Problem is, they did win the round, so for exceL, it's such a tough call. If I was on their side, I'd probably go for it. Go for the full UMP buy. Go for maybe some CT aggression. You might flash the 2 UMPs or the SMGs towards ramp. Try and get in close. I mean, you could go for a Palace push. We see Pulse typically plays towards Palace every single round, so maybe try and flash some players into there. Try and catch those Ts off guard. I mean, you could go for the double apps push as well. Many things you can do, but problem is, right, yeah, those SMGs are so hard to control mid without the AWP. I mean, you could try and get closer towards connector. We saw Boaster playing towards stairs and having those close range angles. Again, though, if you give up too much map control to the Ts.
We have got the buyers come in as well. They are going to go for FAMASs.
So, Connor Wendansky going to be buying up FAMASs. It's going to be SMG onto Lazar. We've seen the impact he's had with the AWP. Now he's just put down onto this SMG. On the flip side, though, Method going to be having 3 AKs and 2 Tech 9s. So, for them, their buy is fairly weak as well, but you do have to favor the Ts right now. 3 AKs versus the M4 and the AK that Boaster picked up.
The speedier rounds we've seen coming out from Method as well, this buy actually kind of favors them in a lot of those situations. They can go for a very hard hit and play, have the AKs at the back. Even if you see Stanley and Nazinho going for those entry frags with a Tech 9, it can overwhelm you.
Exactly. We could be seeing an execute here potentially. If they go towards B, send those Tech 9s, jump them out window, have the rifles there towards balcony to go for those refrags, right? Even if the Tech 9s do fall, get the trade frags in, have a 3 versus 3, have the bomb down and play the retake that way. But I believe we are going back into this one. Pause is undone. I've spoken what they needed to speak about. And now we go into the 23rd round, 11-11. Such a tight game as well for the first one of the Elite Series.
Yeah, incredibly close stuff. And you can only imagine it's going to continue in this fashion as well. As this buy, it's looking shaky all over the place. Both of these teams going into this one with a little bit more of a crazier idea than the level head we've seen in the previous ones.
Bomb. We've got Jenko there, and Pulse as well, wielding the bomb, going towards B-Apps. 3 players now as well, as Weber joins them, standing up short fast. He's going to catch Jacob off guard. Doesn't anticipate that someone could even be there.
This is crazy, the amount of damage early done. You can see already losing 2 players when Dansky and Boaster falling this quickly. They're in a bit of a muddle, Snods.
They are indeed. Utility is so low as well. Look at that. Lazar just has the kit, flash and an HE. No smokes, no Molotovs. Jacob on 7 HP. You look at Method right now, full utility on these AKs. Going back towards ramp, all it is Lazar with a flashbang, 80 HP, and the SMG to hold off. Jenko coming in towards connector, and 3 players coming in towards A. They're going to get the site. It's the retake that's near impossible.
The thing is as well, going contact here, just going to use those flashbangs to entry off the back of this. They're not going to use the real utility they have to zone out the CTs. They're just going to try and play it really smart and out-aim the opposition. Lazar, it depends on how he decides to play this. He could be very critical in keeping this site and the Dream alive for the side of exceL, but it depends on his individual play style. Pulse seems like he gets away with the bomb plant. It's going to go for the full commit. Jenko's already fallen back. They've got good after plants already. You can see him get into position.
They're not.
Lazar had no idea as well. Jenko pulls out the second frag as he finds the one on towards Jacob. That's crazy. No control there. They knew connector was open. Lazar doesn't even try and listen out. Of course, Slow walks in, shuts him down, gets the follow-up frag. Connor has to just try and save.
Jacob there, 7 HP. So he didn't want to overface towards short. Die. And unfortunately for him, though, the fact is when you play too scared like that and you have no information, it allows Jenko to come in for the backstab and find that kill. And I mentioned before, right, if Method were to win this round, which they have, the impact it would have on the economy. You can see everybody brought up into this one. UMPs, FAMASs, they die. 1,500 across the board right now for the CT side. And again, though, I spoke about it, the fact that it's all about the T sides. Who's going to have the stronger T sides? Both Ts winning their pistols. And right now, winning the majority of the rounds right now. Was,
So crisp.
thing is though, was 9 rounds enough on the T side of exceL?
That's the thing. You know, we touched on it, the fact that you can't let up. If you have a very dominant first half, you better hope that you're keeping that going.
Do indeed. It's going to be some Palace aggression. It's going to be Pulse once again joining them. Let's see now who gets his first kill. Pulse caught off guard. Might actually be able to spread out one.
Windansky luckily will get him with the drive-by as he brushes along. They do have the AK to play over, and they only go 1-for-1, so it's not the worst case scenario in the world. They can back off now as well, and they have got some information from that.
Yeah, you can see the reply as well from the T side. They see two players push towards app. They're going to go towards mid. Stanley and Nilzinho here. They've sent Jenko back towards B apps to rejoin Weber. Smoke off towards connector, flash up short. They're going to boo and split B.
Let's see if they can actually pull this off. Obviously, Stanley clearing all his angles, trying to play it smart. Hearing all these audio cues as well. As you can see, they're a little bit panicky, just trying to play it slower into this round.
And actually, the fact they're playing it slow might not actually be or play into their hands. I mean, all it takes right now is Jacob to eventually rotate in, and actually he's going to be behind Stanley.
Oh, Jacob could be the catalyst to actually getting exceL this round. If he plays it smart, trigger discipline. Oh, he's going to go for the shots. He had that. He had it in his hands. He could have gone for that kill at any point, but he overreacts. Connor as well, dispatched by Jenko. Just too much prowess there as he entries the bomb site in a fabulous manner, leaving just 2 players left alive, Windansky and Luzza. Highly unlikely we see anything too crazy coming out of into this one. I mean, this is just a bloodbath off the back of Method into that round. So many misplays here from exceL.
You can see how important it is as well to have that Kevlar. Soon as Stanley turned around, hit one bullet, the aim just went flying up, bullets going in the air. So now we see Method reaching that 13th round, and actually, exceL forced again. Jacob fully bought into that one, and so did Connor. Luzza as well, so things are getting a bit strange right now. Windansky hasn't bought, 3 players have bought. Method are going to get to 13. Are they going to eco again? Allow Method to get to 14? At that point, I mean, Method need 2, exceL will need 5. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but it's not cohesion.
No. That's actually fairly effective, though. Luzza being able to find this kill at the end of the round, at least he gets something else to play with, because you said they're just constantly damaging their economy. They're not giving it any chance to grow.
Stanley playing on 3.5 cents, and you can see how that favored him there. As soon as he heard the shots go off, flicked his mouse, spins one instantly, and managed to spray down Jacob. And as soon as he found that kill onto Jacob, Jacob whiffed. The round was over. So, round 25. It's going to be the UMP right now and Stanley, 4 AKs for the terrorists. exceL, though, it's going to be Luzza with Kevlar and an AK. He's really the star of this round. He's gone towards mid. He's trying to find an entry, but it's going to be Weber towards B that's going to find the entry instead.
Oh, look at the movement there. So much on display as he just brushes his way out the window. You can see myriad of frags coming in as well. As just Stanley finds 2 fairly easily. You leave it on just Windansky and Boaster once again. How many times have we seen this situation where the explosive play catches exceL off guard? They rip their way through 3 members. Windansky and Boaster last alive as the duo, and most likely they just have to try and at least save onto that AK.
Yeah. 14-11 now. Stanley as well, close towards Boaster. Boaster 7-5-7. No AK to pick up, though, unfortunately for him. But still, 14 now for Method. exceL at 11. So let's think, right? First half was 6-9 in favor of exceL. Since then, they've only won 2 rounds. 2 buy rounds, but still, Method winning 8 on the trot. 8-2 right now is the scoreline in the second half. Momentum in their favor. Frags going their way. Luck as well, potentially, made that thing towards CPL with Jacob and Stanley. It's all going right now in Method's favor. And Stanley there picking up 1.2k cash in hand with that SMG. So, 14-11 now. Still no AWP on the T side. Weber now doesn't have the SMG, going to be on the AK. So with the AWP for Luzza and the 4 rifle setup. Luzza's to go huge into this round. I mean, we saw him go towards mid, see nothing. Seems like for both of these teams, they play so passive towards mid, but if Luzza does get modded off towards connector, he could find that first frag.
He's a massive factor into this round. He needs to be the one that finds his opening frags. Has to be the major difference maker. That mid control has early been taken. Luzza luckily bounces out of there before those nades did transfer a lot of damage onto him as well, so he gets away unscathed from that. But he's smoked off. You can see they're playing it very smart, actually zoning him out of position. He's not able to do anything effective.
Smoke comes in towards the top of connector. Luzza sees that. He's rotating towards kitchen, and actually, second thoughts and backtracks, and now heading towards A. Stanley boosting towards window. Windansky unaware.
This is absolutely insane. Stanley in the back line could shut them down. It just depends if they spot him out, but Windansky actually had his vision about him and his wits about him as well, as he was able to find that frag, shuts down Stanley and puts them in more of a manageable spot. Although Connor is low, at least he's still alive. They have that advantage over the T's till Jenko actually does one better, finds the headshot towards Windansky, but Weber's positional play is important here. Spots out Boaster, quick on the draw as well to punish him. Luzza finally comes into effect with the AWP. We spoke about how vital it is he finds these frags. He's late into the round, but there's still potential that he could be the difference maker.
40 seconds left. The bomb is now slowly going towards T-spawn. Bomb was left towards top mid, a blunder potentially. They have the site for free. Luzza backs off towards CT. They have flashbangs, they can take control of this potentially, but instead they don't want to face towards Luzza. They make the smart play, they've taken control of connector and jungle, and now the bomb can be planted for mid.
They're in good positions. They just need to have their wits about them here as they slowly tiptoe their way through. They are going to go for that short plant. Get it down. Nilzinho can then back off, get into a good after plant as well, but CT is open. The smoke's there to just try and hold them back, but you can see Luzza up close and personal, ready to go in position. His teammates now grouping up with him. He's the only one with utility, though. Has to go for the flashes over if he wants to allow him in. Molotov's going to go out as well, force Nilzinho out of position. It's smart play, but it misses. It isn't actually going to land on there as they now flood their way through. This isn't too great. Nilzinho, he's in a prime time angle, and he's going to be able to pull out the first frag. Shuts down Jacob, attempting to spot out the head of Connor as well, but it wasn't meant to be. But luckily enough, Jenko's, of course, there. Luzza realizes it's time to retreat, doesn't want to run the risk of losing his weaponry. And unfortunately, exceL not able to do too much. He might actually get caught off here by Pulse as well. Oh, the spam comes out. He tries to fight it. A very risky play.
It's important now that Luzza does save this AWP. Problem is, though, it's too much too late. 15th round now for Method. Match point. Could be seeing another pause here for the exceL side. I mean, they should have really taken a pause before. I mean, when it was 13-11, and they went for this crazy half buy. I mean, 3 players buying, 2 players saving. Lack of cohesion there from the CT side of exceL. 2 rounds is all they have right now. It's all they have to show for their CT side. And both of those rounds were the back of Luzza. I mean, 1 round he got 3K. The second round he had those 2 crucial frags towards connector. When Luzza was showing up, it seemed to be falling flat.
And they're just going to try and go for the fast play once again. They actually lose 1 man in Jenko early, but Stanley can trade it back. Boast is just going to be able to rip his way through with the Famous as well. Finds that kill back on towards Pulse. It's a big trade game early on. A bit of a all-over-the-place round on this one, but at least they have got that A-site control. Even though they're spread fairly thin, they are going to have to try and relink together. Jacob's forced out of position. Now they can effectively get the bomb down.
3 versus 3. Jacob then makes the play towards CT and finds the frag onto Stanley. 1 minute 10, though. They're not pressured by the clock. They can still wait this one out, play slowly. You can see Weber now towards mid. We saw prior that Luzza did die towards connector, but this time it's him towards short and not Jacob. And he's facing with the orb.
This is so hard as well for Weber here as he's going to try and take that control. Luzza not looking correctly, though. Luzza, if he gets spotted out by Weber, he could be devastated.
He might have given the call as well that there's no one towards mid. Maybe the CT's not anticipating anyone to be towards connector. But still, you can see such a safe setup right now from the CTs that they don't want to give this away. They don't want to give away a kill and make it 2 versus 2, because if they do, Connor with that CZ, I mean, he's as good as useless potentially if the bomb does go down and it is that retake scenario.
The thing is, Luzza's still not peeking at this point. Luzza only just coming out, and he's going to scope in, but he won't be able to spot out Weber in this position as he's still holding. He's not actually going for the peek this late into the round. Surely they've heard the audio cues. The bomb goes down. Luzza needs to rotate over now. They're going to try and hold him down, but they can actually get the bomb planted. Weber, in a prime time position, actually tries to get himself in an elevated angle as well. If he finds a couple of frags here, this could be ridiculous. Weber shuts down 1, hungry for more as he leaps down, spots out Luzza as well. Weber single-handedly changing the flow of the round as he goes huge with 2 frags, hungry for more. Nilzinho will find it. Clutch play. That's as good as it gets as they lock it down and claim Mirage.
Seems to be a running trend right now for Method. They have that slow start. They allow exceL to have that 9-6 scoreline in the first half. But from there, as soon as they find their footing, find the momentum, they pinch it back and they win 16-12.
Insane. You can see just the difference there. Obviously starting to feed off the energy. A play that he never should have got away with as well. Luzza's position there. He had been on point throughout the entire matchup. So many smart plays.
He thought that, I believe they thought that Weber was going to go all the way around towards B. He had 1 minute 20. He thought he would come from short, so I can see the reasoning behind it. The problem is just check short, check towards B, see no one, and then scope the bomb. You have the AWP. You can see the bomb. The round should be over there, but the next map will be nuke.
That is crazy as well, how it has ended in that fashion. Not a way you imagine. I mean, it's just odd that that was the way it boiled down to. But of course, Weber, rolling back the years, clutch play, you got to give it to him, right? That's how you expect him to always lock it down.
I mean, talk about locking it down, right? Luzza, every single round he had an impact. They seem to have won. Nuke, the next map, such a big AWP map. So potentially that could be favoring towards exceL, but nevertheless, 1-0 right now for Method.
Let's see how that is going to go down. Obviously, that'll be the next map. But for now, let's throw back over to Tom.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Thank you, Snods, as well. Fantastic map there of Mirage with Method versus exceL. 1-0 to Method. We're going to have a quick break now, then we'll get the analysis from Kyanite and SEO with me on the desk. See you shortly.
We're still waiting for our bill.
Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute.
Excuse me. This coffee is really cold.
I'll get you another one.
Round one. Fight! Sorry.
Welcome back to the Elite Series. What a great first matchup that was. Method versus exceL on map Mirage. Very close to begin with in the first half of that map.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see it that close. Like, it was a few important little rounds that made the difference. Like, a lot of it was the economy breaking down on the CT side, particularly, both for Method and exceL. So ultimately, I was really shocked that it was that close. Like,
Yeah.
I really didn't think it would be.
But loving it. Likewise, it was very close. And then what was the difference? What gave Method that edge, kind of?
I feel like when you look at Method's players, they're very good aimers, and they definitely do suit the terrorist side a lot more, and I think we saw that in the second half when they went over to the terrorist side. And I just feel like if they'd played maybe a little bit more of an aggressive CT side, pushed the map a little bit more, pushed down B, pushed up mid, get a little bit more intel on how their opponents were playing, like Weber did at times, where he'd get an opening frag to give them that man lead. I think they maybe could have accumulated a few more rounds in the first half, but as we knew going into this map, we knew that Method had just about enough quality to see off their opponents, and that really shined in the second half, particularly the last round where Weber did the magic that he did.
Yeah, Method on T side were really strong in that second half, and that just gave him that edge, didn't it? Esther?
Yeah, like another thing to bring on to the T side aggression that Karen mentioned. So, like the exceL default on T side was quite predictable after the first 3 or 4 rounds. Like they ran it every round. They would do the smokes mid really slow, only take areas about a minute in. If Method had actually seen that they were doing that and taken advantage of it, they probably could have got a lot more rounds. It's just aggression and knowing when to do it.
And that last play by Weber, I mean, we don't have the replay at the moment. I think we have got the replay now. We can show everybody. But talk us through. I mean, Weber was just fantastic there.
Yeah, it was very calm. The situation, the bomb was down, there's time's ticking, and they don't know where that third player was. They knew 2 CT, but they needed to slowly just take control, cover areas, and he did that perfectly. Yeah,
so they were staying nice and composed in that. We'll get that replay for you in just a second. But also, Nilzino is well, just holding, being calm, composed as well. In that. We do actually have the footage right now. Just talk us through it, guys.
Yeah, well, here we go. Obviously, Weber got that first kill, anticipated really, really well. And that's his experience kicking in, that He's being attacked by Connor behind him. He knew that. So the chances were that the CTs were going to try and time that attack onto the bomb site, both simultaneously. So he quickly used the map to his advantage, knew Connor was behind him, hid behind the boxes, and turned straight away towards that smoke that was in connector, because he knew the CTs would be timing it and the player would be coming through. And then he had the AK-47, and to be fair, you still got to win that duel. CT coming through the smoke, the extra bit of firepower on the AK-47, and the extra bit of quality that Weber himself as an individual has, was really, I think, what made that moment so special.
Definitely. It's like that first kill he gets, it was so smooth. It was just a single one tap. And, you know, normally some people would spray in that situation and then get caught off guard from the guy behind him. And it was just great. Honestly.
Is that just a kind of the bit of experience of Weber and exceL that they can just hold? They don't need to rush. Maybe a little bit of the inexperience of exceL, just rushing at times. Was that maybe the factor that gave Method that edge?
It could well be. Like, so in that situation, for example, Weber and exceL, they've been in teams together for the best part of the past 5 years. So as teammates, they're probably just thinking, we've been here before, we can calm down, just evaluate the situation, and then slowly just take it. And then, you know, it resulted in them winning.
Yeah. So next map, Nuke. This is a tough one for both sides. But hopefully we'll be able to show you a little map of Nuke, and so you can talk us through it again. But what can exceL do to make this a 1-1 game?
Well, it's going to be a tough one. Obviously, Nuke is a map that has undergone quite a few changes that we discussed earlier. Used to be very CT-sided, now a lot less CT-sided. But as we know, this is exceL's map pick, so we are kind of assuming that maybe it's a bit of a wild card, that they'll have something up their sleeves. Now, don't get me wrong, as we saw on Mirage, Method have very capable players, but you'd expect with exceL not wanting to veto this map that they're going to have some tricks up their sleeves, and I'm really intrigued in seeing what those tricks are going to be.
Yeah, specifically on the T side mostly, because obviously there's a lot of executes I mentioned, like taking outside, taking upper from the rafters outside as well. So if they do bring the tricks you suspect, I can see them easily taking them.
And when you say those tricks, what could they possibly be, those tricks? You know, what could they be?
Well, there's a mixture of stuff. You've got executes from using the skylights on the map. There's executes using smokes outside to actually make a wall of smokes where they can't see what you're doing, they don't know what you're doing, unless they push through. And obviously, you're not going to push through a smoke. It's not a good idea. You can't see until you're out of it, and by then, you could be shot.
Okay, I just want to give people who are viewing this right now just what to look out for. You know, when they're watching, they're just like, is this a trick? Is this not a trick? But you're using some certain executes there.
Yeah.
Will be the tricks that they're looking for. Can you see exceL coming back into this game, making it 1-0?
Well, I don't see why not. I think we both predicted 1-1. This is exceL's map pick. You can never rule them out. But like we were saying, it's all about who's really drilled themselves the best for this map. It has undergone changes. It's about the set pieces, as you said. When you are on that terrorist side, it still is very difficult. So as long as the boys have done their homework, I think exceL, hopefully, will put up a good performance like they did on Mirage.
And obviously, some people might be talking and discussing this. There's a rumour going around that Jenko was deliberately ill as a fantastic bluff. What do you say to that then, gents?
It wouldn't surprise me, based off the performance. He did play incredibly well after it. Like, I think it was straight off the bat, he got a 3K, and it was just like, oh. It's as if it didn't affect him at all.
Yeah, so maybe be more sick on big tournament games.
Possibly.
That's the trick everyone's been missing over these years.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike.
just to help them. And what's going through Method's heads right now? Like, will exceL be telling the boys, like, just calm down, we'll just do our thing, just play our natural game? Or will they be maybe a little bit overconfident now? They're 1-0 up, or will they be complacent?
I think Weber and exceL have been in this scenario God knows how many times before. I think it's going to be them really trying to drill into the minds of their new young players like Jenko and Stanley that, look, guys, we've not won just yet. It's really them who need to be more composed rather than the older two in the team. But that's why we said it's important that you've got that mixture of youth and experience in the side. And it is, of course, up to the more experienced lads to have a word with the youngsters.
And obviously, with this map, Nuke, will there be an opportunity for the AWPer, Luzza? I feel like he was just waiting to come off the leash. He was just waiting to start AWPing, but it didn't really get that much opportunity, or that people didn't come into his sight.
It's something I was kind of getting annoyed about. I was like, 10th round, I was like, we still haven't seen Luzza buy an AWP. And I think that's because they were winning rounds anyway. They were just like, there's no point risking that investment, there's no need to. But when he did pick up that AWP, so a 3K on CT side, like, I think it was the first buy round. Yeah. And you saw flashes of what he could do. And Nuke is one of those maps, outside, it's a long-range area. He can take control of that area and just do what he wants.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, we pass back to the men over there who've done a fantastic job, the casters, Jackie and Snoz, to find out what happens on map 2 of Method versus exceL.
Cheers very much, Tom. I mean, I think you got a misunderstanding of what they meant about Jenko as well. When they say he's ill, they actually just mean he's sick in game. That's kind of what those words mean.
Sick headshots,
Yeah.
of course. But Nuke, I mean, initially, Method starting off slow, 6 rounds for them on their CT side, but it seems like a bit of a habit now for the Method side where they start off slow in the first match of a best of 3 or a best of 2, concede a few rounds, but then as soon as they find the momentum, have their footing in the map, they just take it away. I mean, what? Was it 9-2 or 10-2 in that second half?
How many times have we seen that as well, honestly, with Method, where it seems like they're getting pounded on, they have a few odd rounds, and all of a sudden, individually, they step up massively, and we see them claw themselves back.
Talking about individuals that need to step up massively. Connor, Lazar, definitely firing on all cylinders.
Oh, yeah.
Problem is, though, where's Wendansky? Where's Boaster? I mean, Boaster having that lurk role, potentially. I mean, more of that clean-up player as well. If he's not firing, if he's not getting all those frags on the board, then there's issues there once they get into the site, obviously. I mean, typically what we'd see is the entry fragger towards the bottom, and then that clean-up player, that second player in who's getting that trade kill, should be towards the top. I mean, Connor at 17 kills. I don't know. He was obviously playing lights out, but the problem was it just wasn't enough.
You almost expect more, honestly. That's kind of the sad thing, is even though he's doing his job there and he's actually getting vital impact frags, we're sort of leaning on that thinking Connor should be doing even more damage, because that's the thing. He is an all-round sort of star player. He's sort of someone that you send in like an absolute just tornado of death. He'll run through the sites, clean out the angles, and explosive entries on towards bomb sites. And it wasn't as much that as it was just smart plays. It was a little bit different from the Connor we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, talk about smart plays as well. Probably the play of the game was that Lazar versus Weber 1 versus 1. Ring around the roses towards that B site. I managed to wind down the clock and actually beat Weber there with the time.
And that's kind of the thing as well. You can see that kind of kicking in, because as we touched on, they're a very emotional team. They love to sort of feed off each other, but Method can easily get into their own heads as well. Their mental game can potentially be affected by stuff like that.
I would say more previously than now. I mean, before when on the FM lineup with the FM organization, they didn't have the backing they do now with Method. You know, the salary that comes in every single month, that does relieve some pressure off yourself. I mean, yeah, the security, exactly that. So every single event, they had to win. They needed that £2,000 player to be able to carry on playing this game at the professional level full time.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy how obviously now they don't have to focus as much. They don't have to worry.
Stress off their shoulders.
Yeah, they can just play a little bit more loose, play their game.
I mean, speaking to the players as well, they said that Prak was a lot more lighthearted as well. I mean, if people would make mistakes, they weren't as stressed out and under so much scrutiny. So better playing environment, less stress. Maybe that's one of the factors that caused them to come back into this game as well. I mean, when you're getting a bit heated, arguments happen. That can be a cause to give up into that map, but you saw the mental fortitude they had, managed to bring it back.
That's actually a really good point as well, because obviously you look at it sort of in the age, some of these players that have been on that lineup, they play with so many, they play with so many other players. They're left in that scenario where at this point, you know, you wonder how much fun, how much hype they're still thriving out of it. But where they've been able to work back into it and actually get a little bit more enjoyment, you can see the players now starting to get back into that role, looking like the old days really for Weber and stuff.
I was about to say, I mean, think about how long they've been playing as well.
Oh,
How do they still have a kick out of this game, right? It's got to be tournaments like this where they go on the stage, they play their hearts out, and they play for their livelihood as well, the ability to be able to play professionally.
And this is the thing as well, coming back into this, sort of players like Weber, seeing all this once again now with the Gfinity Elite Series, I think this is what's going to really reignite that spark, get them back into that mindset that they used to have back in the day.
Exactly that. I mean, Method, big organization, obviously, coming from World of Warcraft, now picking up a CSGO team for the Elite Series. Is there a lot of pressure? I'm not quite too sure. I think actually there's more pressure right now on teams like Prophecy, teams that haven't proven themselves. I mean, you've got to think of it like this, right? If you're Method, you're picking up FM, a team that you know have conquered the UK. For Prophecy, they haven't actually played yet. They haven't played officials yet. This is going to be the first time seeing them in the next matchup. So I actually feel like the pressure's more weighted towards them than it is our lineup like Method's.
Yeah, and what's also scary is obviously highlighting a lot on Method. When we look more towards the exceL side, it's the idea that potentially for exceL, if they were to beat Method today, you're looking at almost a minimum top 4 guaranteed.
Huge.
Because they're right now, they're dominating, they're looking good, their form has been improving more and more and more. So up against the other UK teams, you imagine that exceL could potentially find themselves towards a spot in the finals if they were able to find a win here.
I mean, I believe Ezio mentioned on the desk, right? He said that he thought it was going to be Prophecy or Endpoint fighting for that top 4 spot, right? That 4th to 5th spot. Obviously, top 4 make the playoffs, so it's so crucial they do make that top 4 at the end of the season. But for me, I think a team like exceL could maybe sneak up there if they get those early upset wins versus teams like Method.
That was the thing. That's why they need to come in big here off the back of this one, try and lock that down. We also see the same potential scenario happening if we look a little bit later on in the day with the Endpoint Prophecy game. Because Prophecy, a little bit of an unknown quantity. They've got a lot of talent, but you know, it's a little bit of an unknown factor. You don't know how they can actually come to the fold, if they're going to perform fantastically. Because if Endpoint are able to pick that one up, already Endpoint are looking in good standing up against the amount of domestic matchups they've had against everyone else here out of the UK teams to try and find themselves towards the top spots in the finals.
So where do you anticipate Method ending this season 1 of the Elite Series? Where do you reckon they're going to be? In the finals?
I think at minimum right now, in the form that they've sort of had in the past, if they're able to get back to that standings, we see minimum of 1st or 2nd place.
Yeah, I mean, that's the pressure that's on them, right? How much we believe in these players, how much they've shown as well. I mean, conquering the UK for the past year, and now this is where the real test is. I mean, if this Elite Series happened, what, 6 months ago when they were dominating everyone, maybe this could have been much more one-sided games.
And that's the thing, obviously, back then you were currently playing with Endpoint at the time. So you've been through that. You've seen sort of the mindsets. And obviously playing against these players in that role, you have that sort of experience with them. Have you noticed that in terms of play style that they've adapted, they look a lot more adequate? Or
do you mean playing versus Method?
Yeah.
Playing versus Method is a hard one, right? I mean, you make one mistake, they can take a mile from an inch or an inch from a mile, whatever the saying is. I mean, they will exploit all of your weaknesses, all of the crevices of problems that your team has. They can just exploit it so easily. I mean, all of these players are so versatile. The fact that in 3 versus 3s, the 2 versus 2s, the clutches as well, their players are so dominant and prominent.
And that's kind of the thing. That's what we touched on there. Clutch play for Weber is sort of what he's been through a million times. Every scenario there, played it fantastically, incredible talent on his own right. And in those sort of scenarios, that's where you're going to see these players excel. In the situations where they should be struggling, where if you haven't been as weathered, you're going to run into issues, but not for them.
I know we've been talking a lot about Method, obviously, being potentially the #1 UK in the UK team leading into this series. Obviously, for exceL, the names that stick out for you are what? Connor, Laz, I mean, we saw them show up in the last map. For me, I mean, Jacob previously used to AWP before the addition of Lazar. They used to have Reason. Instead, they brought Lazar in to take the AWP mantle off of Jacob, allow him to focus on calling. Just simply, all he has to do is think about the calls, what's going on with the rounds. Obviously, when you're an AWPer, you have to think about where your AWP's going to go and then where your team has to go. It's quite hard, actually, to focus on both things at once.
And that's kind of the thing as well. It takes that bit of pressure off Jake, so he can now focus more on the minimap, micromanage the team a lot more. And this is one of the teams that I feel could benefit from that quite heavily, because obviously with Jacob's style of calling, if he integrates a lot of that sort of micromanaging style of play to it as well, so much talent here. If you're sort of sending Connor and Lazar in sort of in that sort of pack formation to take control of bomb sites, you expect them pretty consistently to be able to get away with things.
You do indeed. I mean, Lazar, his AWP typically is more passive. I mean, I don't want to harp on him too much, but the thing is, the reason his AWP is effective in this team, especially, is the fact that he might play that more passive role, doesn't go for those first entries and those initial kills. It allows more space for your teammates like Connor, like Boaster, that dynamic duo, the Connor-Boaster duo that can go into sites, find those entries, secure the sites, and I mentioned before in the preface that it's about Lazar's AWP in the afterplants, in the retakes. He's very good at hitting those fast shots, those repeat kills, and not really pushing and playing aggressive and getting that early frag. Going into the pistol though, exceL Esports win the knife and they do start on their CT side. Going to be the smoke and kit onto Jacob. I know where the T is going to be going towards Hut. It's going to be interesting if they walk this or they simply just rush towards A. And actually, as they approach Hut, they'll be walking it. Weber now trying to make a sound cue, trying to distract the CTs.
An old favourite here, of course, from Nilzinho, the upper burst on Nuke. One of his favourites back from his days.
Loves it, of course. Players going towards ramp now, Pulse as well. Let's see if they can get the first frag here towards lower ramp, and if they do, have that B-bomb site.
Now we're going to try and burst their way in. They slip in fairly successfully until Windansky spots out 2 heads, and he's going to claim them as bounty free. Windansky tears his way through. You said you wanted to see him step up, and all of a sudden Phil gets a burst of energy.
He does indeed. Now Nilzinho the 1 versus 3. Could try to go for the bomb plant. Get extra money into the next round. What exactly is going on right now? They're going to go again for the double face, but they're doing it 1 by 1.
This is very awkward. A little bit of a communication lapse potentially for exceL. Luckily enough, they have 2 players left standing, 1 in the rear, 1 in the front as well, and they have control of the bomb. And Nilzinho is so low, it's not going to take much to remove him from this. exceL just needs to play slow. Exactly
that. Throws a smoke out. Could potentially go for the bomb. The plant here is quite huge, right? He gets the bomb down here. $800 is going to allow his team to buy up into that second round bump. Fortunately for him, Windansky will deliver the bigger play, that 3K there towards ramp.
You know what's odd as well is, in the past, when you looked at this on paper, Method's lineup when they were FM, you always favoured them in a lot of pistol rounds because you were like, wow, the amount of pistol skill they have that translate into that, into their actual late round ability was insane. But exceL, right now, just storming through the pistols.
One of the things with the pistol rounds as well is the fact that it's pure skill. There's no executes. I mean, you saw in the bar rounds, flashbangs, smokes, Molotovs come into play, but when you play the pistol, pure aim, pure skill. There's, you know, very rarely, or not really, but typically, you're unblind, you're not smoked off certain angles, it's just your crosshair and you.
There is no external factors other than you guys playing with what you have. I mean, everyone's on the same playing field in terms of the amount of, the economy you have to play with. Both sides are working exactly together. You have the same amount of utility to work with most of the time. You know, there's no real difference makers. It's just that hard-hitting play style where you need to use your smarts against them more than anything and just really out-aim the opposition.
So, exceL winning that pistol, 3,000 across the board. They're going to be able to buy up into this one. Bomb, obviously not going down right now for the Method side, which means they will be forcing up into this one. It's going to be Deagles, Tech-9s across the board. They're actually buying up Kevlar helmets as well, which means no AWP into that first round. I mean, thing is, though, you know, typically when you talk about teams like Endpoint, I mean, we saw Imi playing so well online with the AWP. Some teams were on the AWP more than others. For Method, you know, it seems like their bread and butter is actually the 5-rifle setup, similar to like a Virtus Pro. For exceL, I mean, typically they're probably at their best with Lazar on the AWP, but if they don't have it, it's not really the end of the world for them. They can still play off of the rifles.
That's actually one of the really, really key points as well, because as we said, they're very versatile in the way they play, but that doesn't necessarily mean they just need an AWP and they can rotate it around. It means they can play with a 5-rifle setups. As you said, sort of reminiscent of early VP, sort of a couple of years back on a lot of those setups, when that was quite favourable in the meta. You try and play with those rifle setups, and it allows them to play with lower economy as well.
It's quite hard as well to play with the AWP on this map on the T side because you can go towards outside, you can take all those peeks. The problem is you're constantly peeking into angles that the CT AWPer could be holding. And especially, I mean, you take control of outside, say the CT is playing passive, they give it up. Once you try and execute or go in towards A main, go towards A, go down secret, towards B, it's such tight choke points that AWP doesn't really come into effect.
A lot of outside control is going to be going the way of Method early on there. You can see they're actually being able to get themselves through. Windansky needs to be the huge factor. We saw him go massive into the first round. A UMP, prime time position to be playing from. He should be racking up an awful lot of cash here, Snods. He should just be playing the slot machine right now. Luz will actually get the opener though, shuts down Stanley. He's just toying with him with the scout. They're at bay. You can see him just panicking a little bit. They actually find the frag back on towards Jacob as they're just swarming to the site. It's a little bit wibbly-wobbly into this round. It's quite all over the place.
Doesn't need to keep refacing here though. Gets that first kill, gets the information as well. They know exactly what's going on. Lazar there with the second frag for himself. Ooh. Still. 3 players alive right now for the T side. Deagle, Tech-9s as well. They have Kevlar if they can find one of these rifles, potentially, or the SMG dropped by Jacob. Take that in their hands, see if they can go towards part of the map, try and find an entry that way.
Oh, Weber trying to find a Deagle frag there as he just hammered away with the trigger, but unfortunately Boaster was able to overpower him. Nice tag on towards Pulse as well, and at this point, Nilzinho and Pulse fairly far away from each other. They're trying to play together at this point as they're actually going to go for the A site play. I mean, this is manageable if Nilzinho and Pulse can go in together, but unfortunately Pulse being spotted out. Nilzinho pulls a little trick out of the bag, finds his way down towards the B-bomb site. As long as he gets the plant down, this is a very effective eco.
Exactly that. The bomb will go down. That will mean extra utility leading into the first buy round now for the Ts. I mean, $800, that's enough for smoke, flashbangs, Molotov, double flash, or Molotov smoke or whatever. That should grant them enough to do an outside execute, smokes towards outside, do that wall of smoke, allow yourself to fake if you need to, or go down towards secret, apply pressure towards the CTs that way. It might not be pressure towards kills, might not be pressure towards an execute or something. Just the fact that the Ts could be there, right? Having to split up that CT defense, you might see one of the players that initially hold towards outside go down towards secret. That's a player that's a player that's further away to rotate back towards A. So having control of outside for your T side is so crucial.
That's the thing. It's always been such a major factor. I mean, outside on Nuke is kind of it's a transparent, you can compare it to somewhere like mid on Dust 2, maps like that. If you gain control of outside, it's essentially your mid on Nuke.
Yeah, the thing with Dust 2 as well, obviously, if you have control of mid and the double doors, you can obviously completely stop all rotations between sites. But so let's give me the second round one as well for exceL. 2-0 for themselves. Bomb going down, we mentioned before. Impact they'll have onto the utility should aid them going to their first buy round. For the T side, it's always about how many rounds can you really get. Nuke, obviously, notoriously favored CT side map. 9-6, 10-5. aren't really that uncommon scorelines, especially considering the CT's won the pistol.
Yeah, that's the point. They're on a very good side to try and start this off from. Obviously, Nilzinho as well, actually, back in the day, had a lot of strategy, a lot of depth, actually, on T-side Nuke. So there might be remnants of that there. In terms of how well-versed Method are on Nuke, it's not a map I feel like we see them play enough, really, to have that much of a good opinion on. They do occasionally play it. I mean, we saw it.
The last time I saw Nuke from Method was the best of 5 versus M. It was the best of 5 versus Endpoint. UK Masters finals and Insomnia finals where it went to that 4th map. And see, for Method, I mean, you've got your cache. Their cache is so strong. Their Mirage, they love it. The overpass is strong as well. I mean, the only map they really don't like is Train. So first ban most of these weeks is probably going to be that Train veto.
Now, that seems like things have been sorted out. We're going to be jumping back underway with the action. Baited you in with that one.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Real Duins, nuts. Caught you off guard. That's what Nilzinho wants to try and do to his opponent, mate.
Exactly.
Working it in there.
So, baited in. Thought we were going to be getting some live action, but instead, just a slight delay as we do continue to wait. You can see Nilzinho there, head in hands. For him, I mean, let's have a think, right? 2 people still alive, was it? 2 or 3 people still alive?
Yeah.
If they go for the buy now, this could be going through his head, right? You go for that buy, you try and break the money of the CTs. And actually, you can see they had about 2,700, yeah.
Yeah, basically 2.7 across the board.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be Deagles. Does anybody have 3,000 on the T side? No, they don't. So again, unless they went for the unarmored AWP, that's the only way we're going to be seeing it if it is the glass cannon AWP.
And that is going to be quite interesting as well, because obviously that CT side play there, depending on how quickly they can get that AWP out, that really affects the flow of the game. Because outside control becomes a lot easier. You can also rotate one player off there as well, basically hold close towards Squeaky. It just makes the CT's lives a lot easier, more reminiscent of how the map used to be played.
It does indeed. You can obviously sub in the smokes if you want to take map control that way. Do the wall of smokes towards outside to go down secret. Obviously, you can also smoke off towards A main. If you smoke off garage, smoke off the secret steps, and then smoke off that CT ramp area towards heaven. As long as you just flash it, you can still get in towards A main and go for that flank towards A.
Yeah, there is a lot of actual potential strategy as well. That's the thing with Nuke, is in terms of how deep it can be in terms of strategy, there is a lot you can actually do. I mean, there's puggy potential, but a lot of it does require on being very drilled as a team.
Actually, could you bring that up, right? Tactical depth.
Yeah.
You got to think of these 2 teams. You've got Method, team that just recently brought in Jenkaf to teach him all of these new strats, bring in all of these, not bring in, sorry, but reteach all the executes they had previously with Fry 1. All the positions as well. We can see the CT defense is split. Before on Mirage, it was Stanley playing B short, and then it was Nilzinho playing towards B apps. But now Stanley's towards A, and actually Jenko has taken that B short role.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because if you look at it, do you remember the FM lineup where they had Jenko in originally? A long time ago. When it was
January? I mean, it's a long time in the UK scene.
UK esports.
January, when they just after they won UK Masters. Actually, it was December, but they replaced him in January.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You look at it there. That's the sort of the reign of FM that he's used to being in. We then saw that get subbed out. Obviously, now coming back in, there is a very long time where that was the core 5 sticking together. Obviously, you had Fry in there as well. And the fact is, during that time, that is where they made their playbook a lot bigger. Nilzinho was able to just have free reign over things. You could see structure improve tenfold, communication a lot better. But now where he's been re-added into the team, he's been mixed in quite a lot. He's been kind of all over the place. He's not really been in one stable home. So he's coming back in individually talent, probably raring to go, drilled. But communication-wise, it's going to take him a little while to work back in.
Yeah, I believe after he left FM, and that's the thing, he left, he wasn't removed.
Yeah, he retired at that point.
Well, not retired from the lineup.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He even said to himself, didn't he? He wanted to take a bit of a break.
Oh, for school, yeah, actually, right, I remember. So he leaves FM, everyone thinks, what on earth are you doing leaving the best team in the UK?
Yeah.
Has exams, makes a smart choice to focus on his A-levels, and then, obviously, exam season's over, we're in July, this isn't, your primary school exams would have happened towards July. I mean, June is over. And yeah, I mean, Jenko has all the free time in the world and now he's rejoined this lineup for the Elite Series. But I think I wanted to mention as well is the fact that on that lineup, they had Robin. And Robin was such an experienced player. Yeah. He's been to a major. He went to the first major. Having some of that brain and that experience to teach the younger stars rising up through the scene, like Jenko, like Stanley, obviously would help them out exponentially.
The only thing is as well, though, I got to imagine right now with the lineup they have, in terms of the actual emotional side, I think this is going to be the most consistent team they have. I think this is where they're all going to be able to bounce off each other. They actually can level themselves out, and they're going to be pretty comfortable around this. This isn't really going to be as messy as it could be with Robin still on the team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Robin having that back ban meant that you can't really see that much of a future in that lineup. Still though, 2-0 right now for Method. Windansky gets that double kill there. 1,200 at the bank, nice and easy.
That is absolutely insane. He's been able to pull that off, just drop straight into his crosshair. A swift round. Method not investing too much, try and get it over with. Very quick play as they boost themselves up outside, walk over, and Windansky just gets an awful lot of free cash.
He does indeed. So, be interested to see if he actually carries on that SMG towards the next round. If he drops it in case someone did die, I mean, if you keep that SMG, you've racked up enough cash, you can see, actually, let's take a look. So, Windansky there, 4,000, going to keep the SMG. Jacob as well. If they win this round, keeping the firepower they have, they're going to have extra money leading in, continuing into the rest of the half. So, fast play towards outside. It's going to be fast aggression already from the 5 rifles. Smokes come in, they can get towards Secret now. They can fake this and go back towards A, but now the CTs must know exactly what's going on. Smokes come out and Boaster here on the rotation, but I think he's a bit late.
He is a little bit late. He does actually arrive. Molotov goes down, so at least he's been able to hold them back. They don't go for the fast play off the back of this.
Smart play, holds the pixel angle, knows that no one's going to be able to hit that shot. Spots someone cross, throws the Molotov, falls back, and look at the time he's granted his team. He's stopped the push single-handedly for the exceL side, and now Method just waiting for the smoke to fade. Not really too much they can do. You might see some aggression as well. You can see Jacob's push towards ramp. They know exactly what the T's are doing.
They have all this information to play with. They have good positional setups as well, but it just depends if they can actually land the shots more than anything. Boaster, a rare in talent, but he needs to try and get himself back in form. He gets the information, but doesn't try and commit, actually backs off. They're playing this incredibly close to their chest. This is smart from exceL. This could be a very critical round as they have the drop on their opposition, but unfortunately, Boaster going down this early doesn't allow Windansky to strike from the rear.
It doesn't. I mean, potentially he could have wide swung as soon as Boaster did fall, try and go for a trade kill, but he's waited too long now. It's going to be Pulse and Stanley now towards window. Luz is up on the retake as well. Stanley finds that kill towards Jacob. exceL, Luzza finds that frag onto Weber.
Luckily enough, Luzza was able to get that because this AWP's going to be so awkward, so many tight, close angles. You can't really use it as effectively as you want. Pulse is going to drop. Connor Pulse hits the second frag onto Windansky as well, and Luzza can't even get out of there. He gets taken down by Nilzinho, loses the AWP. They get back into it straight away, picking up the first fall by round. That is not what exceL wanted. They had all of the building blocks to win that round, and it all got crumbled down like a small child waddled in, Snods, and he started hitting it with his hands wildly.
Exactly
An angry
that.
child.
I mean, he had 2 chances as well to wide swing, okay? He was towards vent. As soon as Boaster died, he could have wide faced there. I mean, could have potentially got a frag and fell back, could have gone up vents, could have gone towards the B site, caused more havoc. Instead, he waited for the opportunity that arose, but he peaks too late, and Pulse was able to find that double kill. Simply not good enough. Lining up smokes now. Let's see where these will land. It's going to be the AWP on Jenko already. The AWP is brought up fast as well. Must have picked up Luzza's AWP. That was towards ramp. You can see Luzza deducted to just the scout. Jacob towards ramp with the UMP as well. The firepower is lacking right now on the CT side. If Method win this, they should be able to force exceL to an eco, match that 3 scoreline. Big round now for exceL. If they reset the money as well for Method, they can be taking the lead. All to play for now.
Very critical round here. They need to try and continue this war path if they want to keep it going. If they get reset, it's a very awkward, sticky situation to be in as they slowly take that map control. They've actually been given a lot of leeway by exceL here compared to what we've seen in the previous round. But Windansky tiptoes his way all the way around behind. He pulls off a massive flank. Pulse, there's no information. The call wasn't made, it seems. They have no idea, and they've lost 2 players off the back of that.
I don't think Jenko actually heard where those bullets were coming from. Behind him, Jacob as well towards ramp. Found the frag onto Nilzinho. That's the bomb down as well. Stanley and Weber now in the 2 versus 4.
That is insane. Weber trying to at least make some kind of redeemable play out of this round while Stanley makes his way down towards that bottom bomb site. He has slipped into B. And it's actually fairly clear as well. If he wants to go for this, he can try and get on there. He just needs to ward out the position of Boaster, which he does. Fantastic game sense. Molotov out, get the bomb plant on the far back corner of the site. Just try and stay alive. But if all else goes wrong, at least they've got the bomb plant to play with. Boaster will dispatch him, leaving it on Weber. We've seen him really be the clutch man in these scenarios.
Forced to run though, he can't walk. I have heard that, but luckily for him, that all the CTs are rotating in through vent and by secret, which means they don't know where he is. And luckily for him, though, Luz will peek out. That's a nice flick shot for him. 3-1. They reset the money of Method here as well, so crucial round 1 for the CT side. AWP is as well. Pick back up. It's going to be dropped over to Luzza into the next buy round. 4-1 now in favor of exceL, but we saw the exact same storyline on the last map. Method starting slow, losing the pistol, allowing exceL to get to that 9th round, and then from there, on the second half, they found their footing and found their groove. But still, Windansky dropping the AWP over to Luzza. It's going to be just Nilzino, the Tech 9 there, and full utility. But even though they do have those 4 rifles and no WP on the T side, they do have good utility. So we could be seeing a mirroring execute towards Secret. Could also smoke off and try go for that A split. Smoke comes in towards lower CT. If there's a smoke heaven as well right now, this is the A main split I was speaking about before. Still a slow default now from Method. Before they would throw those smokes and play so aggressive off of it. Once these smoke fades though, you can see Pulse has a smoke grenade and that's it. As soon as the smokes do fade as well, CT's going to peek out, they're going to see the information. As soon as they spot no T's towards outside, they can be towards Secret or they're going A. Method now funneling in towards Hub. Xeno trying to bait out some shots. Does break the vent as well, trying to apply pressure. He's trying to think that they're going B. He breaks the vent. Trying to get into the minds of the CT, thinking that they're going down Secret.
Oh, they get the early contact towards ramp, though. Jenko's going to be the one to try and open it up, obviously, spotting out JKM. Left on 22 HP, who has the backtrack. Luzzer is doing a good job of actually defending this, though. He's kept them at bay. They lose one man. Jenko's very low. They actually lose Weber as well now, as Connor is going to go blow for blow. Oh, up close and personal, Jacob, if he plays close to the wall, this could be a very awkward angle to begin to. He has the advantage over Pulse here, but Pulse will be able to strike a little bit too fast for him. Takes him down swiftly as they encroach on the bomb site. Going to plant and play around the smoke. It's a 3 versus 3, but the retake potential is there. A struggle for Boaster, but in the end he finds it. It's critical that he found that headshot.
It is indeed. Jenko now, Nilzino in the 2 versus 3. Make it 3 versus 1. Nilzino has a flashbang. That's all to his name. Spots out one player. Does go for the spray battle, but Boaster will take him down. Another round now won for exceL. 5-1 would be the scoreline. Method going for that force buy. Broke now. I think they're trying to salvage the AWP maybe, waiting for this defuse to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, there you go. So sometimes when you're playing CS, don't want to defuse the bomb straight away. If there's an AWP to be picked up, just wait a couple of seconds and go and fetch the AWP and then defuse it. So 5-1. exceL might be forced now. Method might be forced now onto an eco, and if they are, a 6-1 lead potentially for the exceL side, I mean, as well. Playing versus the eco, you can see Tech 9s. I mean, they've gone for a slight quasi-buy, standing there with Kevlar helmet, Pulse as well with Kevlar, so this is the round now, the money round, where exceL have to have 4 alive, 5 alive, build up the bank, allow them to continually apply pressure to the Method T side.
Actually going to go for a fast play as well. Straight down vent as Stanley slides his way through. The rest of his team are kind of stuck back. Nade's going to hit him on the head as well. Headers that out of the server right now, but it's a bloodbath. Windansky kicking off again with a hat-trick at kills, just ripping his way through everyone. A flurry of bullets coming out of his rifle there. Jenko's the only one who actually do any damage. Recovers the AWP, but it's short-lived. He gets shut down.
This looks messy. This looks really messy right now for Method. Still though, was the eco, so not the end of the world for them. They will be buying up into this one. You can see the 3K there from Windansky through the smoke versus the non-armored opponents. So not really too much to write home about just yet. But that 3K is money in the bank. 6,000 already, Windansky. Nearly 8,000 as well onto Boaster. So Method need to win 2 consecutive rounds right now to break the bank of exceL. And if they do, that can be their lifeline to try to come back into this one. But if exceL win this, get to the 7th round, force Method again onto a low buy, we could be exceL mounting such a lead that Method just simply can't come back. Yeah. Once again though, outside smokes, already they're down towards Secret. Stanley and Weber both tagged up so low. The spray through the smoke, amounting about 160 damage collectively.
Yeah, it's been good plays actually from exceL just off the back of those smokes. Obviously, they've got the favorable M4 to have in those scenarios. A lot of early splash damage coming out. Oh, that is sick, Weber, with that headshot. Decapitating Boaster. I mean, that is absolutely ruthless stuff. Just filthy that he's been able to get away with that.
Clinical aim there from Weber. Will allow Method right now to have the 1-man lead. You can see Windansky's so scared of me, they can come down Vent potentially as well. All stacked up towards Secret. Nilzino going to peek in towards A. Might try and cause a ruse here. Try and force a rotation back towards A. When actually Method are stacked outside B. Jenko finds the frag onto Connor though.
They will kick it off towards the B bomb site as they try and get the entrance. But Windansky has been playing out of his mind as he comes in with 2 huge frags, leaving it now on the dynamic duo of Jacob and Luzzer. They're going to have to try and work together to really claw this one back from the jaws of defeat. It's getting ever so close to exceL letting this one slip.
Luzzer with the AWP, holding that angle towards the double doors. It's so crucial. He finds a frag here, then falls back. You can see, holding this angle, if he whiffs this shot, the round should be over for exceL.
It's such a tight angle. Oh, the flick as well, Luzzer! He's so speedy, he swipes across, shuts down Nilzino, but Jenko can retaliate. It's all on JKM now in a 1 versus 2 situation, going for the pre-fire, but he can't quite find Weber. The nade will roll out, but it's not going to blast him out of the server. So awkward as he just has to rawly make his way out on towards the bomb site. His head's going to get taken off by Weber. So unfortunate off the back of a huge play from Lazar.
You can see the composure on their face as well. They just won a massive round that could have easily gone in the way of exceL. Lazar finds that crazy shot, gets traded out, but if Jacob found that spray through the smoke, made it a 1 versus 1 with 20 seconds left, the bomb going down there, the bomb being exposed in the open as well.
Oh, man. If he would have denied that bomb plant, that round would have been insane.
Exactly. Down to the wire already. Close matchup, even though the scoreline may not dictate that. 4 rounds now separating these two teams, those who head into the 9th round. Once again, exceL taking the hit for his team onto the Tech-9. It's going to be the AWP again onto Luz. We've seen some crazy plays from him already tonight. Let's see if he can carry it forward. Nade will go in. They might do some damage, actually, but instead, it won't really connect much. It's going to be the T's lining up their smokes back towards outside again. Smokes go towards outside. They've done the split right now so many times towards Secret that they might just start faking this now. Do the line of smokes, throw a flashbang, maybe send exceL off there as the lurk, and then actually hit towards A, and it's happening.
Oh, they're going to try and go for the fast play, catch them off guard, see if they have been able to successfully lampoon them. As Jenko will be able to make his way into the site, shuts down Connor with a Kalashnikov, tears his way through him, leaving them in a 3 versus 3 that could get a little bit awkward. Windansky waiting as Jenko lands down below him, unfortunately lifeless as they get left with just 2 players remaining.
Bomb must be salvaged now towards Vent. exceL, they're just a Tech-9 still in a smoke grenade. He can't even smoke the bomb and get it. This is so difficult now for the Method side. Think as well, right? If they lose this round, they reset. So much pressure on the shoulders to take this one. Lazar there with the AWP will find a nice frag onto exceL. The Tech-9's are play, but Pulse's AK is still here.
Gonna be able to shut him down, makes his way back onto the site. He's left in a 1 versus 2, but it's just too much to ask. Jacob, quick on his toes there. He is going to find him, shuts him down, and Method, they need something else behind them. They need that extra kick of energy. Is exceL are just excelling through this?
I mean, their T-side right now, they're going for the executes, they're smoking towards that side, they can't get towards B. Boast has been playing so well towards those secret stairs and the double doors. Lazar's rotation as well from heaven back towards ramp, finding those frags onto that B site. It's been so hard for Method to try and find an opening towards either bomb site. Still though, 10th round now. Eco for Method. 8-2 should be the scoreline, and once again, this is another round for exceL, where they should be having 4 or 5 alive. They've got 2 UMPs, stack up as much cash as possible, and potentially be able to buy up for the rest of the half.
Slow approach towards ramp once again, this time around a little bit more of a contact style play. Obviously, they have no utility here, Snods, as well, so it needs to be a bit more aggressive than anything.
I'd rather see Jenko there, instead of buying Kevlar helmet, $1,000 investment into utility. I mean, if he buys a smoke grenade, molly, I mean, you could smoke off a main, flash your teammate out through heart, molly heaven or something, do you know what I mean? Potentially get the bomb down, but instead goes for the greedy play, but maybe this greed could pay off. You can see he has the armor, so he can take a bullet and still fire back, but Boast to hold it off angle towards a main might be able to catch him off guard.
I see, as obviously Jenko is going to make his way down towards this B bomb site. Tiptoes down there, eagerly looking around. He's going to be such a critical man. If he catches Windansky or anyone off guard by that Deagle, it just takes 1 swift shot to punish him, and he does do it. Jenko shuts them down. Unfortunately, they have already lost Pulse, though. They're left in a 4 versus 4. This isn't favoring them too much, but Weber is also in a good position. You can see the confidence starting to come over him. He should get the trade back here. But they already lose another man. It's gone way too far south into the round. Best case scenario, recovers a weapon. At least he does find the frag back, but the trade's there swiftly. Jenko actually does more damage than you'd expect. Found that frag on towards Jacob. That's ludicrous. He's gotten away with that. He's in a fairly good position. Even though they're close by, they are going to find the wall bang to punish him. If he would have got the bomb plant, that would have been mental.
Penetration, damage done there by the AK. Going through that metal sheet of heart. Excuse me.
Joe Penetration Loose. He loves it.
Actually, his middle name is Ducky. Joe Ducky Loose.
Very similar.
I was about to say... anyway. So, 8-2 now. It's going to be a strong lead now for the exceL side. 6-round advantage already. Just 2 is all Method can put on the table. Tech-9 again. I mean, it feels like he just constantly, exceL, I'm speaking of, constantly sacrifices the firepower for the utility, but they're not getting into a position where they utilize it. I mean, they're doing the smoke towards outside. They're not even really getting the bomb down. They're being shut down by the smart players from the exceL side. I mean, Boaster, Lazar, Windansky finding multiple frags before they can even get close to that bomb site. T's, though, stacked out towards Hut. This could be that Hut take we're speaking of prior. You flash out Hut, you try burst it, and you can see already first frag there for Connor.
Trying to play around the smokes here as they just walk their way through, but it's a bloodbath, the absolute meat grinder as Connor's getting away with these frags. Broster as well, doing damage. He finds the headshot back on towards Stanley. Connor, the hat trick comes out as he just tears his way through everyone. He doesn't need time to have a break. Weber is the only T left alive. Windansky on 1 HP, but Jacob will find him. 9-2 is the scoreline.
Finally, a slight grin there showing on their faces. Typically, when I stay composed, you can be in the lead, but in what, 10 minutes, 20 minutes after a couple of rounds, the chance of an upset is still there. 9-2 for them. I mean, they forced up into that one. They've gone for the fast play towards Hart. I'm trying to think, why would they go for that? Boaster, Windansky, the vent player, has been playing very well, but typically he has been rotating towards vents. We saw that crucial round where he had 2 opportunities to go for that trade frag. Yeah. Maybe they're thinking Windansky would rotate if they did outside smokes, and that way there'd be 2 on the site instead of 3. But you can see Windansky not towards vent this time. Instead, he's read the play, spammed up Jenko. It's the full eco again. exceL are going to have double digits on their first half already.
Oh, Weber, though, finds the shot with the deagle. These deagles are reigning absolutely supreme. When you give these players a method a chance, they can just absolutely run away with it.
They can indeed. 1 minute 10 on the clock now. Bomb is towards outside, so chance of the win this round is very unlikely. You can see another player does fall as well. exceL does 4. 1-2-A-4 versus 4 now.
Method still just tiptoeing around, and you can see right now, spread fairly thin, obviously just holding to see if exceL will get overconfident, go for any information plays where they can catch them off guard. These pistols, I mean, only really going to work in close range. They have a little bit of potential with the deagles on Jenko and Weber, but it's just unlikely they're going to get anything too much in their favor, especially with Jacob now coming through the back line. All of the information is in his favor, but he fires off a lot of warning shots early, and now he's going to run straight to the trap. Jacob up top surely should be punished. They have no idea, though. Stanley doesn't react off the back of it. Jenko finds 1 frag with his deagle, but it's short-lived as Windansky can strike back. The header pulse gets popped clean off. That is a tenacious defense coming out there.
Where is the communication right now on the method side? This isn't the method I'm used to casting. 10-2 now. Jacob managed to fire at Jenko from behind, and Weber and Stanley had no idea where he was.
He would have had so much information.
The thing is, though, think about it, right? Jenko as well before, outside, when Dansk had that flank behind him, he died.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has a communicator probably, or he did, but maybe Method had other things in their mind. I'm not quite too sure what happened, but that's twice now where Jenko's been shot at or been killed, and his teammates didn't react to it.
It looks almost as if there is no call upon Jenko's death right now. It looks weird.
Exactly. exceL with the op, they're going to be in for that fast entry towards A main, but going to open the door the wrong way. The door won't face him, but actually, speaking of facing in, Windansky faces him and throws away his life for nothing. So maybe not anticipating exceL to finally have a gun in his hand instead of a Tech-9, but 1-man lead for the T side. 1 minute 20 on the clock. 8-round deficit still for Method. This is a big round. They need that 10-5 scoreline. They can't allow exceL to have such a strong lead already in this first half.
Oh, Jacob finding that frag, obviously shutting down Jenko as well. As you leave him now, just Method in this awkward situation. You have a 4 versus 4. They still are favored in this, but it just depends on the plays. They're still trying to play it slow.
Standing now towards A main. You can see there's 2 players as well towards Hart, Pulse and exceL with the bomb. Has the AWP as well. The AWP is so hard to utilize towards the sites. It really has its power outside and finding that first kill within the first 10 seconds like we saw. And now as the clock has dwindled, it's so hard to have an impact. But talking of an impact, Connor finds it onto Pulse.
Yeah, Connor finding that entry there is absolutely massive. Leaves him more of a manageable situation, of course. He gets so much info off the back of that. He knows what site they were trying to encroach upon, and he can relay that to his teammates. It just depends on how they actually read this. Stanley going down ramp.
Yeah, I know. You can see Jacob not anticipating Stanley to be able to go under heaven and come to his left. He just thinks that Method are going to go towards Hart and they're going to walk in towards ramp, but Stanley now allowed to go in towards heaven. Boaster finds that frag onto Weber towards A main. It's a fast reply there from exceL and Stanley.
They're going to shut them down fairly swiftly as they just get left in a 2 versus 2. They are going to try and get that bomb down as they fumble away. exceL gets it planted. It's just Lazar and Jacob attempting to retake this now as exceL slowly holds his angle, waiting for the peak to come through. A limited amount of utility, and that's going to be one of their last flashbangs used. Obviously, the smoke is still up, so they can't really peek effectively onto this. They are still just having to hold their ground and play together. Stanley, though, with a snapshot, finds the headshot back on towards JKM. Lazar has the Molotov out and now try and play around that. He's still got utility to play with, but time is of the essence as he finds the frag, snipes his way through Stanley, and smoke the bomb, try and jump on it. He's got the kit to play with. He could bait them into it, but unfortunately, exceL going to be a little bit too smart for that one. Pulls out the AWP and shuts him down. So close.
Was indeed. I mean, the fact it was close as well, only one player staying alive for the T side. Did have the AWP though, so we'll have to rebuy into that one, but the money still for Method will be low. You got the bomb down, the bomb did explode. That's $3,500 into the bank. What can you buy with 3.5K? AK Kevlar with helmet is only 3,700, so instantly you're lacking that. But somehow, someway, Method are able to buy up into this one. I believe it's because of the fact that they had so many frags on those eco rounds. They're still allowed to buy up. Lazar going for the fast plate, does find a kill, but gets instantly traded out by neilzeno's AWP. Jacob towards ramp, going to throw that Molotov off. Trying to slow any of the players, but standing towards that side, trying to find an opening towards Boaster. He knows exactly where he is. They can smoke off Boaster, or they can try to duel them together, but if they just forget about him, smoke off Garage, they can spit towards A and try and follow them out that way.
Post up, spots him out. A little bit of an awkward confrontation, but he will snipe the head clean off of Stanley. Unfortunately for him, though, Weber had a good position to get the trade back, leaving them in a 3 versus 3. They are favored very heavily in this scenario as well.
They are indeed. AWP still in neilzeno's hands. Connor just a CZ. 1 minute on the clock. Windansky next to Jacob. Leaves Connor alone on that A-bomb site. 50 seconds left. Weber towards Heaven. If he gets spotted out here. Actually, no, he's towards the AC, so he could be behind them.
This is the thing. If they don't clear it and Weber plays with trigger discipline, he could peek out. A nice frag on towards Windansky. So much information off the back of that, and he can backstab. Pulse also gets the opener on towards Connor. This is shaping up to be a very effective round. Windansky clears it, but of course behind the AC, you can't see him. Another frag comes in off the back of Weber's smart, stealthy play, leaving it just on Jake. Oh, that could have been a huge frag on towards Pulse. Pulse only just realized it's almost as if he didn't hear the play. Should have been aware of that. Now pushing his way back through. Nade is going to roll out. Transfers a juicy bit of damage on towards neilzenio, but still a 1 versus 2 this late is going to be so awkward. They're just hammering down pot shots as well. Absolute flurry of bullets to keep him at bay. Jake trying to panic. Flashbang goes out. He's going to play around it. Shuts down neilzenio. He should have been aware of where he was coming from. Jake going to tap the bomb as well. See if he can bait Weber into the face. Jump peeks it. Nearly got shot out of the air as he just continuously tries to go for the fake play. Will shut him down. JKM somehow pulls out the clutch level play. Shuts it down. Gets the bomb defused. And that is an 11-13 half at the moment.
Why on earth has neilzenio just walked into a Molotov? He's walked into the molly with the AWP in hand, whiffs the shot, and basically hands exceL the round. You can see Jacob Reynolds landing that, goes for the second defuse. Weber forced to go for the peak. Tries to go for the fake flash with the smoke grenade. I like that style of play, trying to go for the audacious fake. Instead, though, Jacob on the ball realizes it's not the flashbang, doesn't turn, and finds that kill onto Weber, but neilzenio there, what was he doing facing into the Molotov? Lazar again with the AWP towards outside. It's going to be Method deducted to just 3 Tech 9s and 2 AKs now. Grouping up towards ramp, might go for a flash burst through the smoke, trying to catch Jacob off guard.
Jacob, so critical as they need to try and flood their way through. He's holding the angle, going to rattle off a load of pot shots. We'll find the one headshot back towards Stanley, but it's nowhere near enough in that scenario. He needs to try and do more. He had to catch him off guard. They've got control of ramp. They can slip their way down towards the B bomb site. Both of famisable weapons as well. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but he does the best of a bad situation. Finds a headshot on towards Jenko. It's only neilzenio that can trade him back effectively here. Lazar going out for a couple of random pot shots as well. Lazar somehow stayed alive for longer than he should have, but will eventually be put in an early grave. 2 versus 2 retake. exceL had the advantage, but Lazar's thrown it away. 2 versus 2. Weber, 9 HP as the AWP. That's a 1 shot, 1 kill. Doesn't need the AK in hand. Connor smokes off the bomb. Actually, he doesn't. The bomb's planted towards Toxic as well. Weber holding the angle towards Squeaky Door with the AWP. It's so hard now for exceL to win this. Really, really awkward round to be in. Weber retake with the AWP. It's not favourable, and he misses it as well. That was his only chance to actually go for the strike and get that opening frag on the board. Windansky's going to shut him down. neilzenio, though, has won the round. Molotov on the bomb. No way Windansky can effectively gain control. He will rip him down with the AK as well. So at least they were able to close the round out.
11-4. 11 rounds in the CT side nuke. It's still winnable, of course. I mean, typically, you see that 9-6 scoreline on nuke now. Then again, it's not that common. You do see heavily favored CT sides that do fall short on the terrorist side. So, if Method loses pistol, exceL win versus the force buy and the eco, they should be getting to 14. I mean, at that point, 14-4, 10-round advantage, you really have to be favoring exceL in that scenario. Then again, Method, if they come back strong, make it 1-1 in terms of pistols, 11-7, that could be where they come back into this one. And it is a common thing, right? The momentum is so strong on the Method side. Once they have it, they don't let it go.
it's such an awkward round, sort of situation to be in terms of rounds right now. I mean, we've said it before, and it kind of is sort of an old wives' tale, really, more so than anything with Method, but they will bounce back. Most of the time, if you give them a chance to get back in there, they're instantly going to snap back into effect. No matter how many rounds you're winning by, there's always that chance. But right now, that doesn't look like the Method we're seeing.
Exactly that. Once you're winning as well, you tend to get less disciplined. You can feel the win.
Yeah.
You overextend, and Method, such complete players, such versatile players, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. So you give them any chance to come back into this one and they can take it. Second pistol round now. exceL on their T side. They need this pistol round just to end it right here, right now. Gripping up towards door. The flash is there. The H will blow the door off, but Pulse is on the other end with the USP.
Pulse in position. A critical power player as well. Usually, we see him have these odd struggles in LAN environments, and Pulse, we need to see that true Pulse power coming out on display. The Reese Mars at full potential, as he can be such a precision player, but they're all going through vents. They're going for the fast play. The smoke play through vents drop towards B for the fast plant.
This is so smart. I mean, I thought they were going to be going towards A. Surely the utility, they blow off the door, they could go towards A, but Pulse, he wasn't shooting towards the smoke, and now it's all down to Weber towards Rampy. We'll find one frag, but Jacob finds himself standing.
It's already a trade, and Pulse, the man we hyped up so much, the one that's usually quite precise, gets shut down straight away. They're double players in vents as well. They're hot on the tails of Weber and Nilzinho. Weber, luckily enough, will find one frag, but Nilzinho gets taken down. Weber doesn't have the kit as well, and he's got so many players he needs to try and force out of position. They're in good afterplants. They have no reason to peek into him. They can just play off audio. Weber has such a hard task on his shoulders. He will drop down in towards the bomb site, at least try and bait them into his hands, but time ticks away. Finds a headshot on towards JKM. There is no reason for Windansky to peek in and just toying with him right now. Speeding his side, finds the headshot, and they get that opening pistol off. A fantastic smoke drop.
That's huge. Both pistols now won for the start of exceL. 12-4. Money's going to be so low as well on that Method side. If they lose this force buy, or if they force buy into this one, lose it, they will have no money leading into that second round, which means Eco round 14-4 should be the scoreline. Method though, such strong individually players that with the CZs, with the 5-7s, the UMP, they can really cause issues for exceL, especially on their T side as well. You got to remember, right? On your T side, you have to go towards them. You have to peek into their crosshair. So as long as exceL play this one nice and smart, nice and slow, molly out certain important corners or sectors of the map, flash angles, double face, play the trade game. One rule of thumb as well on your T side when you're playing versus Ecos is playing groups, playing twos, right? Have your partner there, always play together, able to refrag that kill.
First frag is going to go the way of Windansky, and as you said, unfortunately, there isn't any potential to actually get that refrag back on the side of the CTs. These pistols, they're just playing from close angles, trying to play for themselves. If they can do potential damage, that's the best case scenario. Jenko's position's been given away now as well, so the T players that are outside could try and take him down if they want to. But the worst case scenario, they have the information and they have the upper hand.
Exactly that. Upper hand being one man advantage with 50 seconds left. Weber with the only real firepower into the round, the SMG towards B, but it's going to be Lazar and Co towards Hub. Expecting them to go back towards A. You can see them as well. They're towards Silo, going towards Rafters. They have the long-range advantage.
Jenko struggling a little bit there. Eventually, he is going to be struck down by Connor. They just leave 3 players left. The Method trio, not really much to play with in terms of their arsenal. They only have that CZ over on Pulse, the UMP on Weber, and the 5-7 on Nilzinho. Nilzinho actually has an angle to strike from, though. An opportunity presents itself, and he does struggle, but eventually finds a frag, taking down Windansky. Recovers the AK to play over as well. And Pulse in this scenario might actually get the drop on Boaster as long as he plays his cards right. Will peek wide, tries to take down Lazar, who goes for the double kill. And unfortunately, this does force Nilzinho to just go for the save the AK into the following round.
You have Kevlar, you have your helmet as well. Going to be saving that Kalashnikov into the 18th round, so who knows? On your CT side, he could be playing towards Garage, he could go Rafters, peek towards outside, try and battle that player towards Silo, try and find an entry for his team. Maybe try and make a 4 versus 5 early on into the round, and then if the CT stack together with the pistols, try and win it out that way. But still, heavily favoring exceL right now. Speaking to the players, they said that their coach, one of the things that the coach did was work on the basics, reteach them the basics of CS. I mean, if you're Windansky or Jacob, you've been playing this game at the top level for years, that the small things, the discipline, that don't overface, don't overpeak in the 2 versus 2 like we saw Nilzinho do, the basics and the fundamentals of CS are pulling exceL through this one right now.
Yeah, you can see that in those key moments. Look at this play actually as well. This is very interesting. The up-close personal play from Jenko. You play in the smoke. This is very smart. He can pull off a massive frag on towards Boaster here, get an early weapon. It just depends on how he actually tries to play this one. He's let him get behind. He's in the back line. He's going to try and peek up now. Spots out the head of JKM as well in the elevated angle. Just tries to tuck in. Right now, Boaster should have probably cleared this is cool as well. Boaster is going to find the frag. Smart. They weren't going to fall for any shenanigans.
They weren't indeed. That frag was as well onto the SMG. So $600 for Boaster, but at this point, money doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's all about rounds. They win this one, they're at 14. They have a 10-round advantage. They need 2, while Method will need 12. So, and even then, right, even if they get 12, they can only concede 1 round.
Yeah.
Jacob, just wondering if that's a teammate or not. Still, Pulse towards aim in with full, and already it's a 2-man lead right now going into the 18th round. This should surely be 14th round secured for exceL. Money as well, constant frags being taken upon these SMGs.
Oh, Stanley goes for the strike play, but Jacob, an absolute acrobat.
Oh, he's not happy with that one, is he? Jenko. I mean, how fast he rose up through the ranks of the UK scene as well. I mean, he was playing on that lineup with, that Infused lineup with Red Snake, Bert, was it Bert? You know, Red Snake, Roma, Dream.
Yeah.
And then Sunley, I believe so, I'm not quite too sure, but Neil saw him, picked him up, took him under his wing, and then from there he played on the FM side, and as soon as he played on FM, it really showcased the talent he had.
Yeah, that is true. Jenko, the man we just splashed on about here as well, as the up-close and personal goes for the strike, will get the opening headshot, takes down Boaster, which this time around they actually get the opening frag on the board, but the trade is swift. Connor, though, left on 44.
You can see how desperate they are as well to make plays. Jenko rushing towards red container outside, trying to get a 2K, the 1K fall away, but he's trying to find the entry for his team. Stanley now has made the advantage right now for the side of Method, finds a second frag as well, so a 4 versus 2.
They should just leave it on Lazar. And Jacob Lazar doing more damage as well. He's going to find that frag back on towards Stanley, leaves them with 2 players left to play with. They make their approach down towards the B-bomb site now. They have it in their possession as well. The CT spread fairly thin, and Jacob's actually in a nice vantage point. Elevated angle can get a lot of information off the back of this.
He is indeed. Lazar with the bomb as well, towards B. Pulse is pushed in towards hot. They might not anticipate a play to be towards heaven. If Jacob can find a frag towards A, that might cause the rotation to stack towards the A bomb site and allow Lazar to sneak in towards B, but actually we'll lose the duel to Nilzinho. Jacob as well towards Pulse. Pulse will win the spray battle, having the Mac 10 not really favouring you in that scenario. So 5 to 14 now as Method finally get around on the board. But I mean, where was the pause, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
They lose the pistol, don't pause, think about the buy. I mean, they were, 12 to 4 down. If they lose this round, the game's probably over. They don't pause, they don't think about what they're going to do. They're not like, okay, we're on our CT side, we're on pistols, let's maybe buy up a scout, take the scout towards our side, stack A, 4 people, stack 3 behind ramp. I don't know, like, have people hiding towards ramp, people facing towards ramp, trying to force a bait play or something.
Yeah.
They haven't taken risks. And exceL playing the slow game, playing that methodical, slow, fundamental style of CS, granting them that 14th round.
It seems incredibly different to what we're used to seeing on a regular basis from Method here. And from exceL, honestly. It's all switched around quite a lot, obviously, into this round as well. exceL, once again, just going to burst their way through skylights. They have those nades to play with if they want to try and go for the potential fake here, or even for the commit towards a bomb site.
1 minute 10. exceL winning 3 rounds in a row. Pistol. The 1 versus the 4 spy on the eco. With the Mac 10s as well, so the money is still decently strong. Going to allow them to buy up into this one. 5 AKs. Molly going to go on top of Hut as well. You can see there. Pulse is playing on top of Hut, so that Molly will flush him out. You can see he has to drop down. But there's no one there right now to trade him. Instead, Verdanski gets spotted and killed by Nilzinho.
This is good, though. Nilzinho being in position there to hold control events as they knew they wanted to potentially go for that burst-style play. Great, you cut off the rotate early. Stanley does damage on towards Lazar, but Connor, unreal aim there. Sick rifle, an absolute artist with the AK as he paints a picture all across Lazar's face there.
Does indeed. 1-man lead with 30 seconds left. The bomb is towards, is that outside? Is that dropped from Silo? I'm not quite too sure, but 3 versus 3, unless they kill all these players before the time ends, I don't think they can actually get the bomb down. Oh my god, Connor gets the frag. Pulse now, loses the duel. It's going to be Weber now in the 1 versus 2. He just has to not face him. The bomb has been collected. It's been planted. It's Weber now in the 1 versus 2.
Weber, the clutch man. We touched on him, the ability he has in these scenarios, trying to run through how he wants to approach this one. 2 flashbangs to play with. He has the kit as well. He's in a good situation to try and play this round out. You can see a little bit of paranoia on display, though. Panicked about the locations of these 2 T-side players. He knows the position of Boaster. Has to try and use that last flashbang. Just going to peek when they're blind. Hope that he can play for the best. Wanted to clear up, but Connor finds the headshot. And it's getting to crunch time now.
It is indeed 15 now for exceL. The match point for them. One more round, they'll take this a 1-1. Crucial for them as well. I mean, Method being one of the powerhouses of the Elite Series. You're looking at your Epsilons,
Oh, yeah.
your Envious Academies. Method are up there on that list. So you going 1-1, this should be good for them. As soon as they start playing versus the teams that are expected to do a little bit worse than that, try and get the 2-0s there, and that's how you're going to get into top 4.
Absolutely insane that it started to shape up like this. You can see more of aggressive style of play as well. Looks like it's quite inconsistent, almost as if they're just going for whatever they felt like into this round. Very shocking or uncharacteristic of Method, as if it's really hurt them.
Exactly. I mean, once again, Chenko just dies outside straight away. Stania, though, finds a reply frag, making it a 4 versus 4 with the CZ. Unfortunately, though, for Method, it's only an AK onto Stanley. Pulse with the SMG, Web with the 5-7, about to be peeked by Jacob.
Webber holding the angle. You imagine if he peeks into him, he will be able to take him down. Obviously, you expect the AK advantage should be in his favor. Will find the frag back, leaves them in a 4 versus 3.
Did have the bomb as well, so they know exactly where the bomb is heading. They anticipate it to be the A play, but actually, Luz's left balcony has gone towards under heaven, and the bomb is trying to go back towards B.
This could be really interesting stuff, actually. It's closer than you think. They make their way down towards the B bomb site. Jacob almost alone. The smoke will try and give him a little bit of protection. Stanley's right on the scene. They had rifles to play with in this scenario and a little bit of nades to play with as well. The flashbangs do go out. Stanley just going to toy it, wait for his teammates to try and support him. Goes for the pot shots, the pre-fire, hoping that anyone from exceL will peek into them. They'll make the first mistake because they just need to get something, anything to allow them to do some more damage into the round. 6 shots come out from Pulse. Will take down Honor, but Jacob with a retaliation. A double kill. Great stuff on display. When he picks up the AK, he slays, causes all of Method at the DECK, and that is going to be Team exceL. They pick it up, they lock it down on Nuke. A very unexpected result. It's their map pick, but you never thought they would actually win it in such a dominant fashion.
Exactly that. Very impressed right now, especially from the CT side of exceL, making it 1-1. I mean, such a big win as well. Just take that win versus Method. I mean, future schedule, I mean, when you start playing versus the potential weaker teams, having this big 1-1 should definitely help them try and get situated there within the top 4.
It is crazy. And you can see the confidence there, of course. Boaster showing off his boasties. Everyone very excited after a fantastic result. Going 1-1 as well.
Yep.
You look at this, this is a very, very good result. It's one of the ones that were more acceptable, really, when you look at things.
This is the thing with Method, though. There's so much pressure on them to perform. I mean, you've gone 1-1, but that's still not good enough.
No.
Exactly.
Not for them internally, but for exceL, they're going to be very happy about that. They pick up their map pick in such a dominant fashion. The fact they were able to get that, even with a benchmark that is that ridiculous, that is just insane.
Exactly that. I mean, the both scores, I mean, what, 16-11 to Method on Mirage, and then obviously a very demanding, a very dominating win for exceL on Nuke. 1-1. Method, once again, slow starts, but this time on Nuke, they just were so far behind, they couldn't come back into it.
Yeah, they were very far behind, but let's go over to someone that's going to be very happy about their cousin, son.
Oh, I knew you'd bring that up, Jackie, and Snods as well. I'll pick up something that Jackie said, a very, very dominant performance there from exceL. They are going to be absolutely buzzing about that performance.
Yeah, I mean, we were expecting exceL to do well. It was, of course, their map pick, but I don't think we expected such a one-sided game as 16-5.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's expected to be kind of close, but I just didn't expect it to be that quick.
I mean, I don't think anyone at home would have expected that. After the first map, Mirage was so close. You know, it's tit for tat, back and forth. But that one was start to end, really. It was all over for Method. But, you know, they tried to come back in it, but there was a lot of moments where it was 2 versus 1, and Method just couldn't just get that upper hand.
Yeah, a good example of that was the Jacob 1v3 towards the end of the first half. It was like, he shouldn't be winning this situation, and then he does. So it's like, I guess that's happened then.
There were a lot of situations where, like on Mirage, we were saying that it just looked like the individual quality that we knew Method had was shining through. It seemed like that was taken away completely on Nuke. Windansky, he didn't play that great on Mirage, but to be fair, credit where it's due to him, I thought he was absolutely phenomenal on the CT side. Had that lower bomb site on lockdown. Method, let's be honest, on the T side, looked like they were completely out of ideas.
Yeah, it was a case of it looked quite lost, if anything.
Yeah.
They were getting outside and they was like, what do we actually do now? Like, do we go up?
What next?
Go yeah, it was getting control and then not seizing that opportunity of like having that control. But you mentioned Windansky, the pistol round, he started off with that quick 3K, and then in the same T side, I think he did the same thing. It was just like, fair play to him. The first map he was quite poor, but second he's proven himself.
So at the end of that, you could probably say Method would obviously be very encouraged about the first map, but the second map, that's going to leave them really disappointed going forward in the tournament. I mean, how will they regroup and get themselves in a better place for next week? How will they do that?
They'll know it's not the end of the world. They'll know, obviously, it is the first week and there's a lot of Counter-Strike to still be played. And like we said before, they've got the experience to really see through this. And I don't think they're really going to dwell on it too much. But I think they'll feel more like it's 2 points dropped rather than a point gained as opposed to their opponents.
Yeah. Well, a fantastic result for exceL to make it 1-0. And we can bring down the IGL, the in-game leader, Jacob from exceL. Where's he going to go? If we go to Jacob, come on round here, mate. This is like exactly like we planned when it was all staged and everything. Congratulations, man. You must be feeling very excited about that win.
Yeah, definitely relieved we managed to pull it back, go for the 1-1, because I think Mirage was ours to take, and all very disappointed that we lost it. But I think pre-LAN jitters, big stage for most of the guys, so after the first map, we just kind of spoke to each other, chill out. This isn't how we play normally online, guys. Come on, let's go into Nuke, and then it was just like online again. Back on Nuke. LAN nerves had settled, and it was just straightforward from there, really.
Because we were saying that obviously your heads could have dropped at that point after losing such a close match, but in fact, it just spurred you on, if anything. It looked like you were more dominant and wanted to prove a point.
Yeah, well, we knew it was our game to win. Before coming in, we thought we were definitely going to win. Mirage was our pick. So we won the T side pretty convincingly, and CT is normally our stronger side on that map. So we were disappointed at the end, but it was kind of just, it happens, it's LAN, these kind of things. You do lose some of these games. And we just kind of kept our head cool and just thought, we're going to Nuke, play our game now, boys, and let's just get the 1-1.
There was a fantastic moment where we watched you. You had to defuse the bomb, but you took down Weber, and he was just peeking out at one point, and you held your nerve. Could you remember that moment in the game? Yeah, straight away. He remembers it.
No, well, I've played Weber a lot of times, and I know he will always face when you defuse the bomb. So it was just kind of me knowing him personally, so I knew he was eventually going to come. It was just, I just kept holding it and just hoped he faced, but yeah, he did in the end, so we got the round.
Yeah. We can see that moment right now just in front of that screen. Beautiful moment, and then just to defuse the bomb and just be smiling as much as you did. So where do you go forth now with the team? What do you discuss now? 1-1, going forth in a tournament. Just tell your guys, you know, hey, let's imagine we're playing online. Let's not muck about.
Yeah, well, I think it was just the first game of the day. It was, I mean, took us a while to get set up and sorted. So I think for everyone, it's just, okay, now we realise this is just LAN, this is what we are now. So hopefully there's a few mistakes we've made, CT side, definitely made a few mistakes, but we'll correct those and then come back stronger next week and get the 2-0.
Kainai, espio, did you notice anything from map 1 from Mirage that you could just offer up and getting some explanations from exceL's tactics in any way?
Well, honestly, it was quite unlucky, really, you didn't take Mirage. Like, there was a lot of small things. It was just like, you know, there's situations where it was very unlucky that you didn't actually take the round. There's an example, I think it was Leza in CT, and he gets killed from standing behind, like that sort of stuff. And overall, you look to go to T-side, defaults were solid, like consistent, nobody missing any grenades, nothing like that. So it's all up from here, really.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, listen, Jacob, what will you do now? How will you celebrate? You know,
maybe with a cheeky Nando's.
Perfect. Jacob, obviously, as a second cousin and sort of family as well, I'm sure we'll have a drink at some point. Listen, what we're going to do right now is send back to Yasmin, who is backstage. Sorry, we're actually going to hold Yasmin, whatever you're doing, just hold back a little bit. We're going to take a little break. We'll come back and we'll start talking about match 2.